What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade During the Midday. That is your girl, Ladera, and I am Sharif. And we're going to wait for everyone to come on over from the other stream. Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be back, guys. I hope that, I think we're going to have a great day today. Excited to make some trades, have some talk, and look at some tickers for everybody.
Amazing. All right, we got the OG Matthew Booth and the world's greatest mod joining us as well. Shout out to Bears versus Bulls. There it is. We got Omega, we got Chris, we got Juan, the OG Nimit from all the way in Singapore joining us, as well as Mark Susi, and why not the OG Darwin there as well. By the drip, J Poe, Marcel, how about Phil Rich, the one, you are the one, hold my dang beer. Shout out to Tony, shout out to Hello Hi, whatever. Tiger, we got Trading with Ray, we got, who else, man? Hip whatever, 2 New York Cents, we got Pax, we got Chancellor, Airy Pages, Rogelio, Concepcion, Pitchbull as well. The Piper joining us, Super No, yes, sure, whatever. Vern, Amy, Ta, whatever. Conrad, Clark, we got Stuart, we got Lo-Fi, we got the philanthropist Baker, 69 Judge Shack, take it easy there, bro. We got Roger or whatever, we got Roger. Options, we got Los Palmas, Nimrud, thank you for the super chat. Dropping 6 shekels quick as you like in the chat. Hope everybody's having a fantastic morning. We got lots to talk about today. Lots of small cap gappers, lots of things happening in this market. Sadara, what are you looking at?
Yeah, so I am looking at looking at spready tickers. I'm actually already in a trade here today. I am short MSTR and I am short at low of day. Now, why did I do that? I like low of day breakdowns. I also liked it because look at how many times we kiss that 332.40 level. And it took us a while to break below it. So we break below it, then we kind of bounce back. I got it on, the rebound. And I'm willing to risk 2 points on this. And I took decent size on this. I'm not going to lie. I like this trade. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I will say in my time since I have been not at this desk, I've gotten a lot less emotional with my trading. You take the risk. If it works, it doesn't. And if, it does, that's awesome. But that's really my approach. If I like the trade, I'm going to put what I think it deserves. And I think if this MSTR happens, I want to be a part of that. Also, my sweet Mademoiselle Lily did this. And I missed it, and I saw it move. I saw the breakout, and I did not take it because I was like, well, I have to go over, to the desk. I don't want to be in the trade. But yeah, this 6, and I'll even pull it up on my trading view because I want you guys to see how this AVWAP from earnings broke through because this is honestly beautiful. So we kiss that AVWAP from earnings, we come back. Then we get it, we get that breakout. This is gorgeous. If we have any kind of pullback or bounce into the 875 or 873, that is where I want to be getting involved. Garmin's on watch for me as well. It looks like it's doing kind of this stutter step to the upside, but I don't want to jump into, at this point it's already kind of broken out, so I just want to be patient. Here is Garmin. This is GRMN. It is on the NY. It's an earnings play. I think there's some potential here, but I don't want to get, too hasty with it. I can't be too hasty. I miss singing on the desk. Anyways, I'm so happy to be back here with you guys. If it's spready, I'm looking at it. And if you guys have any tickers you're looking at, I would love to take a look for you. Just tag me in the chat.
Okay, so there is something happening with these quantum stocks right now. We're getting breaking out 1140 to the top side. There's also QBTS. That one is breaking to the high side as well. So whatever the news is, guys, it's breaking out to the high side. So keep your eye on that. What's
Darwin
up,
just put it in the chat. Sorry. So The Verge reporting that Microsoft has announced a quantum computing breakthrough with new margarana, almost looks like marijuana, 1 chip. Microsoft has apparently spent 17 years researching a new material and architecture for quantum computing. So MSFT here with the quantum research getting a little bit of volatility as well.
Okay, cool. So here's the lesson of the day. Keep your eye out on that. So what we're talking about today is short squeezes. We're talking about using these higher short names with the moving average convergent divergence. So today we'll try to explore how the MACD indicator can be used to identify potential entry and exit points for intraday meme stock trades or these low float small cap gappers. Take your pick. Remember, this is just a tool and sound investment decisions require further research. So make that your focus. MACD, what do we always do when we start the lesson? We're starting at a high level. So MACD is a momentum indicator that measures the difference between 2 moving averages of a stock's price. It consists of 3 parts. First, there's the MACD line. This line represents the difference between a 12-period exponential moving average and a 26-period exponential moving average. It's the difference between the two plotted as a line. Second, you have the signal line. That is a 9-period exponential moving average of the MACD line. So it gets a little derivative. So the second line, which is the signal line, is based on the MACD line, and the MACD line is based on the difference between the 12 and the 26 EMA. I hope I haven't lost anybody. Then last but not least, we have the MACD histogram. Essentially, this is a visual representation of the distance or lack thereof of the two lines between the signal line and the MACD line. This shows the difference, as I mentioned, between the MACD line and the signal line. It visually represents the relationship between the two moving averages. So this is kind of what we're looking at here. Your red line is the signal line, your blue line is the MACD line, and these bar charts, or these bars at the bottom over here, represent the distance between the two lines. The higher the bars are, the greater the distance between the two lines. And then when you see them on top of this kind of 0-point line, that means the MACD line is above the signal line. When you see the bars below the 0 point over here, that means the MACD line is below the signal line. Okay, so how do we use the MACD for these meme stocks or small cap gappers? What's the move here? So for the more volatile names, what we're looking for specifically is crossovers between the MACD line and the signal line. So we have several different types of crossovers. Well, two. We got the bullish crossover. This is when the MACD line, which is the fast line, crosses above the signal line, which is the slow line, right? It suggests increasing momentum and a potential buying opportunity. This might be a sign that the stock is about to climb higher intraday. There's also the bearish crossover. Conversely, when the MACD line falls below the signal line, it suggests weakening momentum and a possible selling point. So the stock might be higher due to a pullback. And this is kind of what we're looking at over here. We're going no longer a merry way. You get the bullish crossover, and then up here we get the bearish crossover, and we can kind of see how price action moves along with that, okay? And then divergences. So we talked about how to spot the crossovers, which are usually moving with the price action, but that isn't always the case. Sometimes the MACD diverges from the price action. That's what we're going to talk about here. So divergences can also be useful with these small cap gappers / meme stocks. This is when the price movement contradicts the MACD indicator. So there's two types of divergences, like there were two types of crossovers. So one, there's a bullish divergence. This is when the price makes a lower low, but the MACD makes a higher low. This is suggesting a potential trend reversal despite the price dip. The bearish divergence, kind of the exact opposite of that. The price here makes a higher high, but the MACD makes a lower high, or any other derivative thereof. Basically, when they don't make either a lower low on the MACD and a lower low on the price when they're diverging, okay? Many different scenarios. So this is suggesting a possible trend reversal downwards despite the price increase. And this is kind of what we're looking at over here. You're getting higher highs on the price action, but you got lower highs on the crests of the MACD. Conversely, when you're making lower lows on the MACD, but you're making higher lows, on the price action, but you're making higher lows on the MACD. And you're always looking for confirmation. You never want to rely entirely on one set of tools, one indicator, what have you. So remember, MACD, just one indicator. Look for confirmation from other technicals like high volume during the bullish crossover or falling volume during a bearish crossover. And always set stop losses in order to limit your potential losses, especially with these more volatile stocks, as they don't happen to hang out around in a price area for all that long. Okay, and that's basically the end of the lesson. I hope everybody does well, and we'll keep an eye on some of these big movers. What are you looking at?
Yeah, thank you so much for that lesson there, Sharif. I'm still in my MSCR trade, so just to clarify, this is not showing up in the blotter because I entered before the throw, but I am short 332.40, so basically this low of daybreak, and I am risking to prior bar 15-minute high, so 334.40. So that's right, I'm giving this 2 points because I like this trade, and MSCR has become a ticker that I've traded a lot. So I'm comfortable with how it moves. I feel comfortable giving it 2 points worth of risk, and I will be moving the stop. So at the next 15-minute prior bar high, should we still be in the trade, I'll be moving it to this point. So that's what we're doing there. Looks like it's trying to push me out, but That's cool. I'll chill. We also have a super chat here from Ian Rispetto. Thank you to the $19.99 $20 super chat here from Ian Rispetto. Good morning, Sharif, and welcome back to the Trading Desk, Adara. Thank you for that. Happy to be here. What do you all think of now at these levels to establish a long position? I like the company, and the analysts have it at 1,100 to 1,200. Thanks. I mean, I'm down to look at service now. Actually, this ticker I actually intraday traded fairly recently here. This was during earnings, even though it is above $1,000. You guys know I like those spready tickers, so I was interested in that. I'll take a look at the daily chart and the weekly chart to kind of get a look here at what we're doing. Okay, so we're certainly removed from highs on this NOW. I'm not going to lie. We were in a bit of an uptrend that kind of ended here at the end of December, mid-December 2024. Then we bounce here, do a bit of a double bottom at that one, exactly at 1,000. We make a higher high, but we quadrunk on earnings, and we haven't really been able to push up since. We're also rejecting the 9 EMA. So what I would like to see is probably a push above the 9 EMA, and then maybe also this 1043 hold. Why do I like the 1043? Because this area, this was an area of support going back to early January. This is actually the first trading day of January. Then we rejected it a couple times here after earnings. So I think getting nicely, soundly above that $1,043 area, I think that would be a bit of a change of trend for me. But again, that is just me, not advice, just my take on the charts. Another level that I'd like to see us reclaim is that 9 EMA area, but more soundly here on the daily chart, that $1,008 level, which was also a level on earnings day one. So I want to put that out there. I'll take a look at the weekly or the 5-day chart as well for you, Ian Rispetto. And yeah, I mean, I think kind of similar to the daily, we were in this gorgeous uptrend, and we break it pretty violently. We've been kind of to the downside since. The weekly, I'm not going to lie, I see a little bit less here. To me, this looks a little bit more bearish, but I think on the daily, if you can reclaim that 1043, I think that is a slightly more rosy look. There was also someone in the chat wanting me to look at Mara. So take a look there at Mara, of course, for you all. And again, tag me there, Adara LePage, if you want to take a look at anything. This is still service now. MARA over here on the NASDAQ. And yeah, this looking pretty similar here to MSCR. Double bottoms, tries to break down, has a little bit of a push to the upside, and then kind of rejects. So we are still rejecting that $16.20 level of Mara. Actually just made a lower high here at $16.18. I think if we continue to see lower highs, it looks a little bit bearish, but if we can break above that $16.19 and then this $16.20 area, potentially a change in trend or a reversion, if you will. Shout out to Obi, and also shout out to BPI because we're looking at Mara. I got to shout that one out. We miss Patrick over there. So great look. I am still in MSCR, which is being a little bit weaselly, but I'm still happy I weaseled into it. Also, for context, I'm going to be trading off the 15-minute chart. Then once this starts to work, what I usually do is I move my stops to the 30-minute, so prior bar in the 30, but I'll take out half if we breach on the 15. What actually makes me feel more emboldened in this trade is we wick right into my stop, and then we drop. So I think I like where I have this place. We're going to wait and see what happens. We're not trading emotion. We're trading what the chart tells us because, as your friend Alfred says, you have to be dead inside. How are you doing?
All right, we're doing well over here. Keeping an eye on JTEI, looking for the prints to the high side. Long 90s, we're printing 15s. There we got the 20 print. Let's see if this one wants to move up. I am anticipating resistance at the third of a dollar, hence why I'm front running it by a little bit there. We've got multiple out so far. We'll see if we can get anywhere near the highs. I'm also concurrently in RXRX. This one looks like a 10 exponential hold on the 5. It's not forthcoming to the high side. In fact, it's a little illiquid. For whatever reason, there's somebody selling up a storm at 88s. We'll see if this one can cross. It's been hanging out at 88s for a while, showing me 87s, 86s. There is a seller of note, it seems like, on 88s. I'm going to show you guys these side charts in a second. I just want to execute a few of these trades so I can de-risk a little bit over here on JTAI. Now, this is the #1 gapper in the market. Well, no, OSRH, in fact, is the #1 gapper in the market, but that's actually below the volume weighted average price right now. I'm talking about this bad boy right here, which is straddling the white line from the south side. It's going to have to break and take that $8 level and remain above it for me to stay interested. The only reason I got into JTAI is because it was at the volume weighted average price, and it looked like it might be bouncing there. It's exactly what it did. So I don't anticipate this one really breaking to the high side unless we can get some more momentum, because whether or not we're holding VWAP, what I perceive is we're still putting in lower highs on this thing. So be careful with it. Make sure you're using some resting profit takers because it doesn't stay in the price level for all that long. So JTAI up about 50%. RXRX did reject that 87 print, and now it's below my entry. I'm long at 84s. So if it prints anything below this low over here, then I'm out. The reason being is because it'll continue doing that downward channel where it's putting in lower lows and lower highs. If that's the case, then I can't stay long. So anything below the print right there on this area trough, we're gone Zeno. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. Let's bring in now the side charts and talk about the small cap gappers that I've got my eye on. So OSRH just reclaimed VWAP. It's above 8. It's still below that area peak that we put in at 1050, which is 812. Actually, sorry, no, it's not 812, 833. So we're printing 21s right now. If we break above this level, this could be a break to the high side on OSRH. Good look for it on the day. Let's keep an eye on it. JTAI, I already explained what I'm doing there, and I've only got one more out. Anything below VWAP, I'm gone. VNet looks good, very sideways. Looks like a bull flag, like it's setting up for a bull flag, except it's not coming into the high side, and the volume is really dropping off. We need more participation for this one to break and continue with the second bull flag. So what I'm going to suggest to you, if you're going to trade VNet, get it towards the bottom end of the range. Currently, the range is around 1350 to around that 1390 to the top side. So interesting look there. IBRX as well, kind of mentioned this one at the top, but this one did break below VWAP, reclaim VWAP. Now it's having trouble with VWAP as we speak. So it's breaking down below it. It's putting in lower highs, and it looks like it may want to take out that level. All right, so keep your eye out on that 380 level, despite the fact that I wouldn't trade it below the volume weighted average price. It has price action support between 375 to 380. The reason being it popped up there right at 940, right when we rang the bell, and it rejected that 375, 380 area, only to take it again later after we got more volume. Then it retraced and defended that 380 area. So price action resistance flips to support in this case. We'll see if that wants to continue. SLDB, really strong, 22% going into highs. This one is a beautiful curl up. Now, this one was in play yesterday. Today, it's in play again. However, it's an inside day. We're kind of engulfed by yesterday's lows and yesterday's highs. So be on the lookout for this one. It is breaking into the highs right now. 650, I believe, or 649 actually is the high of the day. This one's curling with higher highs and higher lows. Look to pick it up off support. SLDB, good look there. Then we also have HIMS. HIMS is really straddling that volume weighted average price. One quick breach of VWAP, then it was able to reclaim it right away. So my concern with HIMS is the cost. It's a little expensive. All right, so on the high side, about $69, closing in on 70. And I'm also concerned with the lower highs. We have 3 successive lower crests there, despite the fact that we have higher troughs. So a bit of a compression pattern. Be on the lookout. I would suggest to you to pick this one up off support. So HIMS. RXRX is the one I'm involved in right now. We're out of the money by about 5 pennies. This did break below that 75 penny area, was able to reclaim real quick. I don't have a lot of promise in this one if it gives up the level at 69s or 70, give or take. Why? Because there's an area crest at 940 that we spiked up to. I'd like this area here to act as support. If we give up the area right there at this 11 2/3, then the next area I'd be interested in picking up RXRX off is at 1140, 1150 area. That is the volume weighted average price. SMCI, obviously not a small cap gapper, just keeping my eye on it because it's awfully volatile on the day of dare.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick second here to thank our friends at Firefly Neuroscience with an FDA-cleared proprietary database of over 77,000 brain images. Firefly is transforming healthcare with AI-driven diagnostics, providing a clear data-backed understanding of brain health. After more than a decade and over $60 million in investment, Firefly is advancing its commercialization of its Brain Network Analytics, or BNA platform, bringing the technology to clinicians and pharmaceutical partners. Firefly is enhancing the diagnosis and treatment of conditions such as depression, dementia, anxiety disorders, concussions, and ADHD, while also accelerating drug discovery and early screenings for conditions like Alzheimer's. Thank you to Firefly. I wrote down a list of tickers people wanted me to look at, so I know HIMS, Sharif just touched on. I'm going to touch on Meta, though, for Danny. Danny and a couple other people asking about Palantir, so I'll look at that. But META, there's a very clear area of resistance for me here, and that is going to be this what is it, 703.20s on the bid. Now, why do I specify that? I was watching this morning. As you can see, I had a couple shorts, profitable in one, got wicked out of the other. It's all good. It is what it is. I think I was a bit hasty with this first short entry, but I liked it on the low of daybreak. Regardless, with regards to Meta, what do I think it needs for a breakout? As I said, that 703.20 area, watching this on when we had this, it clearly rejects this previous level of support on the 3-minute around that 703s. And I had seen on the bid too, I was saying to myself, if we can break above that 703.20, which was the prior high, I'll get long. And we dance with it on the bid. We fully have a little samba with it. We're like up, down, around, but we can't break it, and then we plummet back below 700. So with that in mind, META for me to be a long needs to break above 703.20 on the bid. And if it doesn't do that, I am not interested. If I do take it, I would be looking to risk prior bar in the 15, but I also think the fact that we're bouncing off VWAP is good. And to be clear, I'm not trying to say, oh, it's only a trade if it's above that level. For myself, I'm only comfortable taking it if it breaks above that level. Also, another level of interest for Meta that I think is kind of evident here on the 3-minute is that $700.20 level. I've talked a lot about this with spready tickers. I find they either really, really love these $100 levels or they do not give a hoot. Netflix was obsessed with 700. It would have these intense bounces, it would have these intense rejections. ASML is another one that I find to be pretty aggressive with these $100 levels when it gets there. But META was kind of with 700. But that $700.20 level, it seems to love. We support it and we reject it, then we break out above it. So I want to see what we do at $700.20 in addition to that 703.20 level. So Lily's still working. I'm not going to disturb her right now. I don't want to disturb her slumber. Sure, she's up like 8. She's up 10 points, or I think she was up 13 points at the high. I could have taken it. I didn't. It's fine. On to the next trade, as Obi likes to say. Danny and some other people here also asking about PLTR. I have to be honest. I find this until we see a push above that 125 level or this 124.85s. I don't know. I think I need to see a nice push above this level because right now we're a little bit anemic. I want to see if the 15-minute gives me a clear, okay, this 15-minute is gorgeous. But again, you can still see the fact that we are continuing to reject that 125 level. And I think this is actually like a double top to the penny. It looks like 124.90s. So I think a push above that level would be nice. I think staying up, we're on a straight green streak for this 15-minute chart. Now 4 candles. So I think seeing continuous green 15-minute candles for PLTR is a good look. What other tickers for people? Oh, Microsoft. So Microsoft, and again, I want to shout out Darwin for giving us this catalyst. MSFT had this pretty wild little move when The Verge reported that it's been announcing its quantum development. It's called Marijuana is the name, not marijuana. Marijuana is the name of its quantum development. And it has apparently been working on this quantum thing for 17 years. So MSFT saying, hey, Google, you want to do quantum? Yeah, no, me too. I'll one-up you. So watch out for that for MSFT. I still have this meta book up because I want to see this 703.20s. And the way we're looking on the bid here, the way we're kind of creeping up, I actually think we might get it. I'm still in MSTR. Why am I still in MSTR, you may ask? I'm still in MSTR because it hasn't given me a reason to leave. I have my stop at the 15-minute prior bar high, and I moved it when we made a new 15-minute. I lowered it slightly, so it was 334.40s. Now it's 334.21. So we're going to wait and see what happens there. I would like to see us break back below. Now, I'm aware we are curling a little bit if I show you the 3-minute, but that was not the crux of the trade. I was taking the trade on the 15-minute prior bar break, so I have no reason to leave. So I'm going to stay in it, and that is my story, and I am proud to say I am sticking to it. And we also we have a couple super chats, too, that I don't know if we got to. Thank you. Oh, yeah, Mr. C asking me specifically to check Reddit, so thank you, Mr. C. Reddit is a spready ticker, so I would, shout out to Spreadit over there. I make a lot of jokes about Spreada. I don't think I've ever made a Spreadit joke, so I'm actually going to pull up the book on this as well. Sorry, Meta, you can continue your little dalliance, but I want to watch Reddit right now. Also, shout out to ChatGPT for the $2 super chat. Cat X swing from $3. Long Meta, Cisco out of the money calls with a little money face with a tongue. So shout out to you. Congrats to you, ChatGPT. And Mr. C, Reddit. This is the 3-minute. This is a heck of a double bottom. I'd almost say a triple bottom, but this bottom got a little bit lower here. That 184.20, this is gorgeous. It's beautiful. We push up here, we bounce off the 90 MA, and that's also bounce off a little bit off that previous resistance at 186.30. Now we're pushing higher. Next resistance to me for Reddit is going to be this previous area of rejection at that 188 level. I want to see what we do there. Then, of course, we have these highs of days here right off the open around that 189, just kind of shy of 190. So that's my look on Reddit. And we'll take a quick look at the 15. Yeah, the 15, same kind of idea. We're seeing pretty much the same level. So I have nothing else to say there. But I also want to say this looks almost like a double bottom here on a wider time frame on the 15-minute as well. So I do not dislike it in any way, shape, or form. Lily, I'm going to check on you because you look like you're baking, and I want to get involved. How are you doing over here, Sharif?
We're doing well. We're doing well. We took out the local high there on JTAI. We're looking like it's going to break out again, guys. Keep your eye out on that third of a dollar area. That's where we had been rejecting. That's where I took out the last little piece. It may be on the move here back to the high side. I'm going to keep my eye out on that. I've got a couple of pieces left here on RXRX. We're scalping this one into $12. It is finding a bit of resistance up in this 1190s area. Best print I could get out of this bad boy, 1195. So we'll see if we can take out some more here in approaching 12, and then I'll save a piece for the dream if I can. That dream comes above that 1205 area. That is currently the high day on RXRX, up 11.5%. Good look here. It did give me a bit of a scare because it did break the 10 exponential. But as I said, I was really focused on that previous area crest. Right at that, what time was that? 9:45 when we put it in. So I was definitely looking for it to defend this area. If it didn't defend 1165, 11 2/3, give or take, that was going to be the end of the trade. That's former area of resistance. And now acting as support. Now I did add into this one, so I have a bit of a bigger position. We got initially here at 84s. I did add into that 75, and again, best I could do was that 95. Still waiting with an unfilled order in the high 90s over here. Back to JTAI, because this one is putting in higher lows and higher highs, so kind of has that curling effect off a predictable level of support. That support is the volume weighted average price. And I'll submit to you that aside for one quick breach of that on a wick basis right at 1105, it hasn't printed anything south of the volume weighted average price on a closing basis. That isn't, though, a glowing endorsement for a long. Okay, let me explain why. Because we have areas of resistance above the area where we're currently trading that could keep us down from touching those days highs. Go ahead.
Sorry. So BA definitely not flying here, pushing to the downside. Why is it pushing to the downside? We're seeing some reports here from the New York Times that Elon Musk of Tesla fame and of Doge fame is apparently eyeing options for Boeing to move faster on its Air Force One jets. Apparently, he's been, quote, empowered to do so by Donald Trump. So Trump saying, hey, Elon, why don't you call up Boeing and get them to move faster on those Air Force One jets? Thank you to the chat for making us aware of this one. Also, thank you to Darwin for dropping part of this story as well, but I did just check on X, and that is indeed what's going on here. New York Times reporting that apparently Boeing's going to get a bit of a move on with the jets, and also Elon is not the only member of the Trump administration to talk Boeing. We know that the Department of Transportation, or DOT head, Sean Duffy, has been like, hey, Boeing, you got to get your act together. Back to you.
Yeah, they're not going to be interested in speeding that up at all because they don't make any money from that division. We all know that. Yeah. They don't make any money from tankers. They don't make any money from the Air Force One. You know, if they do make money, it's coming off these 777s and 787s. That's so fair. I don't believe that they're going to make any effort with respect to that. So we'll keep an eye on the one that I was just talking about there, JTAI, with respect to this area crest over here. So that 650, lo and behold, we get up into that 650 again, miss it by about 4 pennies, and we reject again. Now we've got a topping tail candle. Now it's not decisive. So what I want to keep an eye on is if we take out that 650 level. That 650 level goes all the way back into the pre-market. Now technically we already took it out because we topping tailed at 715. However, that doesn't mean that there aren't bag holders from that level who didn't offload all their position up here once we spiked and who may want to try to keep us down. And that's exactly why I don't get into these small cap gappers unless and until they've taken the pre-market high. So I'm all ears and eyes with that 650 level, so much so that I'm going to place an alert on my side chart over here to see if we approach that level. I'll be made aware of it so that I can get in if it's warranted. So keeping an eye on JTI. Those are the only ones that I'm trading right now. Not much left on JTAI. Sorry, not JTAI. Yeah, I've got everything out of JTI, but the only one that I've got left, sorry, is this RXRX, but it does look like it's going to reject $12. I don't think I'm going to add again at that $0.75 area. That would presuppose that I'm trading this as a range, and that's not what I'm doing with the RXRX. This was supposed to try to break out that $12 area. It set up as a bull flag off that $11 hold, reached up to 12. If it doesn't hold that level, then I'm not really interested in trading it. So my stop stays the exact same, which is, let me just show you, based upon this area crest over here. So if it breaches that area crest, we're gone with this trade. Now I'm keeping my eye on others. IBRX. This one is really starting to curl up here and try to take out the day's high. We're printing 413s on IBRX, and we got a 427, I believe, high at day. So this one did breach VWAP, but as I mentioned, it looks like it did defend that 3 3/4 area that we printed right at the opening range. It dropped into 380. So, you know, essentially 77s over here, 81s over here. So generally an area defend. This one's on a rocket ship right now, relatively speaking, obviously, because it's a $4 stock. But it's got an area red candle, and even the red candle that it printed on the 5-minute at 11:15 is a candle of indecision. You can see it's a doji candle, essentially with entirely composed of upper and lower wicks and very little body there. So IBRX could be on one. I don't think I want to pick it up right at this level because it's a little strong here. But if it does pull back in off a predictable level, whether that's $4 or the 10 exponential moving average, which happens to be also at $4, I'm all eyes and ears. SLBM though, man, this one continues to make higher highs and higher lows. Again, I don't want to keep saying this, but this is an inside day, so we could encounter resistance at any moment as traders who may be holding this from yesterday try to keep us down. We are above the volume weighted average price. We are at the day's high right now on SLDB, but I'm going to need to take it off a predictable area. I like that 6 1/3. If this one wants to come down from where it's trading right now, which is at 659, come back down into that 6 1/3. There does seem to be some price action support there, whether on a wick or closing basis. So that could be definitely of interest to me here. RSLS is not one that I had a lot of hopes in because it was trading below VWAP when I put it on the side chart, but here we go. This is this is an ascending wedge. It's got umpteen amount of higher lows, kind of flat topish, not really there. You know, there's some wicks here that breach VWAP, obviously, but VWAP was kind of acting as a flat top. We'll see if this current candle printing at 164 can close above VWAP. If this reclaims VWAP, I'm definitely interested, but it's gonna have to reclaim that $1.95, $1.96 area that it printed in the pre-market. Otherwise, it trades below the pre-market high. So let's look at the current trade that we're in right now. RXRX coming right down into my entry again at 75s. And yet again, it seems to be finding some bidders. I'm still gonna keep my out, the exact same area right below that 60. So we got a couple more outs on this one. Either I'm gonna print something in the high 90s or I will get stopped out. I won't be taking it anywhere in between. Adara, what are you looking at?
Yeah, I like those little beak wetters there on the way up. I'm considering weaseling into my old pal Mademoiselle Lily. I'm not gonna lie. I talked about this earlier. I watched this 868 breakout. I liked this 868 breakout, and I was like, Adara, don't take it till you're back at your desk. You might get an opportunity to get back in. And then it goes up, what, like 13 points? So I have to say, I am proud of myself because I did not FOMO in. I did not get all grumpy about it. It is what it is. It, at the end of the day, is a chart and a series of numbers. That's all it is, right? So I'm not gonna get emotional about it. Am I a little miffed? I mean, whatever, right? But I am watching Lily. Where would I be watching Lily? I'm going to pull up my marked up Lil. Also, this is the AVWAP from earnings. This is my 15-minute chart on Lily. And I have to say, if we continue to kind of bounce off this 875 level, which as you can see, a little bit of previous resistance, I actually like that as a long, but I would have to think about where I want to set my risk. So that's why I'm holding off for the time being. That being said, we're also kind of breaking below the 9 EMA on the 5-minute chart. So if we do that, then I think it's a short. The spread has not been super communicative with me right now on this talk. So I'm going to sit and wait. I am in a position though. I know it's not showing up. I apologize. I have had no reason to take any fills on it since we flipped. So that's why it's not showing up here. I'll pull it up for you guys though. It's MSTR. I have a feeling we're about to get stopped out of this. I am, yeah, basically, like I said, the prior bar 15-minute high is my stop on this. And it hasn't really moved. We've continued to kind of reject this 334, 21, 21, 21 area. Now, why have I not gotten out, given the fact that we've made some higher lows? Because I have no reason to. I would be breaking my rules. My rule is prior bar high in the 15, and because we haven't broken above prior bar high in the 15, I am not going to leave. Now, I find when spready tickers do this, where they repeatedly reject an area and then eventually break out, they tend to wake you out. The slippage tends to get nasty. I'm not going to lie and be like, I love that. I really want to get the slippage on this stock where I have, decent size in it, but I have no reason to leave. I'm staying calm, 3 C's, cool, calm, collected. So I'm just going to chill in this ticker and wait to see what it gives me. But I'll pull up the 3 minutes so you guys can kind of understand my qualms. Sometimes I like to say I'm qualmless. I do have qualms about this trade because if you can see here, this is a pretty flattish top with some higher lows, but I was not taking the trade off the 3 minute chart. I was taking it off the 15. I'm going to breathe, I'm going to chill, and I'm going to do my thing 21. Hopefully we'll find out. What other tickers am I looking at here? This Lily actually, okay, Lily. Yeah, we might have to go long Lily here. So the Lily level I like for, I almost just said the Lily I like. The level I like for Lily for an entry is going to be, if I can't get that 874, 875 basically, I like the 820, 870, basically 876.25s. Now I like that level because that was a bit of a wick level on the 15 minute. So if we can get long there, I'm down to risk to the low of this bar and this high on the way up here, which would be about that 874.50s area. That's also an area that shows up on the chart. I'm not going to take a lot of size with this, A, because I still have decent risk on the MSTR, which I have been able to take zero profit out of because it has done a sum total of nothing since I entered. And then B, just because it is a spreadier ticker, I don't want to get too chip-topped. But if I get the level I like, I am going to get involved. And I have to say, thank you, Lily, for moving when I'm back on the midday. Thank you, Lily. We appreciate you. We miss you. And you gave me what I wanted to see. So we're going to get an entry level ready here. Oh, never mind. She just gave up. I'm going to have to wait. She wants to play hard to get. That's cool. I can live with that. I'm also still watching M to the E to the T to the A over here. And as I said, I have zero entry on Meta unless and until we break above 703.20s. We have not done that. And specifically 703.20s on the bid. I don't care what it does in the ask. I want to see it on the bid because we rejected that level harshly earlier. I like that we're still above VWAP. I like that we're still above $700.20, but I don't want to get involved until I see us above that 703.20 because until that point, nothing has changed. We're still rejecting that level. Also, shout out to Jack, $4.99 super chat. Guys, this is a good time to go long. I'm guessing you mean long on NVIDIA, $3 to $4. Let's pull up this NVDA for you, Jack. See what NVIDIA is doing. Okay, this is the 15-minute, pretty wiki. I'm going to switch to the 3 for NVDA. I have to say, NVIDIA is not giving me a ton of directionality here. We had this, obviously, this bump but 10, and this is beautiful. Gorgeous bounce, very violent, and then we kind of, at this point, are pretty stagnant. I am seeing a little bit of support here at that 139.75 level on the 3 minute, which incidentally is also a little bit of support resistance pre-market, but that's all I'm kind of seeing. I have to say, I'm not a huge proponent of NVIDIA in either direction right now. I think it needs to figure out what it would like to be when it grows up. Speaking of what it would like to be when it grows up, MSTR. Oh my gosh, you want to work? Okay, cool. I'm chill. Like I said, not emotionally trading, just waiting to see what the market and what the book has to give me. Some people are talking about BBAI, so I want to make sure I'm doing that as well. I apologize, guys. Still getting used to everything because I have not been on this side of the aisle for a little while, but I am so happy to be back and great to be back next here with you, Sharif. BBAI, okay. Oh, first pushback of the day for a small cap. Okay, I like that. This is a flat bottom, which is why I gave it that pushback. Bottom, 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 775. Higher highs, higher lows. It looks kind of similar to Meta, where I think it wants to break out, but I am unsure if it knows how to break out. Well, BBAI, I'll give you a hint. I want to see you push above the $8.07 level, which was that previous quick rejection. Then I want to see what you do here at that, I guess at that point it was a lower high, that 812 area. So 807, 812, that's what I like for BBAI, but it gets my first pushback of the day for that double bottom. How you doing, Sharif?
We're good. Keeping an eye on IBRX, newest position for me over here. I said I wanted to get into this one at a key technical level. I waited for that pullback. It topping tailed at 415 or so. I got in right at 4. I'm planning on dollar cost averaging into VWAP or the 20 exponential. And the reason I say that is because it's respected the 20 exponential, but it's awfully close close to VWAP right now. So I don't know why I'm not getting filled despite the fact that it's moving up past my my beak wetter there. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on, why this one is a little bit illiquid. Okay, now we get the print when it drops. Kind of bizarre there. We'll see what this one can do. I'm looking for a move up into 410s and then 415s. That's where we rejected last time. What kept me interested in it though was when it bottomed or when it pulled back, it made a higher low and it held a technical level that I was interested in, that VWAP, that 20 exponential. Here's what I mean by that though, guys. I mean, this is kind of why I was looking at either VWAP or the 20. So when it bottomed here, it clearly broke VWAP, broke it by a substantial amount relative to the price. VWAP was around 395. This one dropped into 382. So it didn't respect VWAP. What it did was respect the 20. So now I was thinking, am I seeing what I want here, or was this an area crest that we kind of used as support once we cleared it as resistance? So this 377 over here kind of stands out. That's a 940, 945 print. It comes right into there. Now keep in mind, there's people that want to buy ahead of the level, right? So I don't necessarily just want to sit at 377 because I know there's going to be other buyers who are going to want to step in at 378 and 379. If I feel that way, there's other people that feel that way too. So it might not be the 20 exponential here that it held up at. So I should be careful trying to base too much on this yellow line, which is a 20 exponential moving average on the 5, but rather I should take note here of the actual price action previous resistance and what could be support. So keeping an eye on IBRX. For the last remaining amount on RXRX, I had 2 more beak wetters left. I got stopped out as that one did break below my area crest over here at 1165. So we'll take a 10 penny loss on that little remaining amount there. But I'm still interested in it because that 1146, 1150 area is VWAP. So if we come into that level and we're already up 8 or 8.5, we are up more than that, 9% on the day, I definitely could be interested in taking it out. Now, the one was telling me about RSLS, and I told him this is breaking out. It's a good look. It was an ascending wedge. It had a flat top breakthrough VWAP. However, it's still south of that $1.96. That is the pre-market high. I won't take it long until and if it takes that pre-market high. Are we doing the ad read?
Yeah, we've got an ad read, and it is going to be here for Trade Ideas. So we're going to take the time to thank our friends at Trade Ideas because President's Day savings, Sharif, they're here. Get 22% off all new subscriptions with code TraderTV22. But wait, there's more. Upgrade to Premium Annual, and you can snag a massive 28% off with code TraderTV28. So that's right. Huge savings are happening now. All you got to do is head to the 2025 President's Day sale landing page, which is linked below, before February 20th or February 19th. Don't miss out. So today is your last day to take advantage of that awesome sale. What else are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on QBTS because it's really breaking out to the high side here. It's performing a lot better than Rigetti. So I don't know which one had the headline, nor do I really care. But I'm looking at the price action. This is about to break out 12%. It's at the high. It's at 675 right now. It hasn't had a red candle in quite a bit of time. Our QBTS is the one I'm talking about. It did pull into VWAP, and I was thinking, okay, well, here we go. We're going to have that mean reversion trade back into the low. $6, $5.90. No, it double bottomed off VWAP. So exuberant were the buyers that they picked it up at the same level twice, and then that's as far as down as we could go. We took out that previous high at 650. We're continuing it to 675 right now. There does seem to be a bit of a seller, though, at around the $0.75 there. We take him out. Now we've got another seller that we got to deal with at 76s. So strength coming in here on QBTS. Quantum names have been in vogue for a while. This one, you know, one of the ones we always look at, QUBT or GTI and others. So keep your eye out on this one. It's breaking to the high side. It's going to replace, I don't know who it's going to replace right now, but it's got to replace somebody because this is breaking out in a good way, and I definitely want to have eyes on it. Running out of spaces here on my side charts, up into 12.25%. This one keeps making higher highs every time I look at it. Trade it carefully, guys, because this one, let's find out what the short float is on QBTS right now. QBTS. So Trade Ideas says it's 15.25% of the 255 million share float. So definitely larger, and this could get very squeezy. But I always mention, before you start making predictions about whether something can squeeze or not, have a look at the recent price action and say to yourself, yay, you know, where could the shorts be? Where could they be at? Now, there's a couple of things that you can do to kind of help in that regard. Let me just flip to QBTS over here. The couple of things is, number one, look at the outsized volume days, especially the red volume days, right? Not the ones that close green, maybe the ones that close green as well, because shorts can get in at higher levels, even though we close up on the day. And then you also want to look for area peaks. And ideally, those two things overlap, where you have area peaks, or crests as we call them, as well as high volume days. There's a good chance, especially if you're, if you were in that area for a prolonged period like we were over here from mid-December all the way to early to mid-January, you could definitely have a lot of shorts in and around this $10 from $8.50 to around $10 area. Now, that's one area where the shorts can be. Now, how about after that? How about after January 8th? Look at this area top that we've been. $7 has been a very persistent level of resistance on this bad boy. So the shorts could be a little bit north of 7. So keep that in mind when you're trying to make educated guesses as to where the shorts can be, because that's where it can get a little bit crazy. Now, keep in mind also that just because shorts are out of the money doesn't mean that they have to cover. So just because you've made an educated guess as to where the shorts are based on volume and price action highs, it doesn't mean that they're forced to cover. It just means that they're out of the money. So keep that in mind. Not everybody buys stocks on margin, so not everybody's going to get margin called and be forced to sell. That is something you also need to take into account. So this one keeps going, man. 13.5%. Now it's getting real crazy up here. I want to see how it does in and around 7 and above 7. As I just showed you guys, we've had a prolonged period of technical resistance at $7 on QBTS. If we take out that level, it could get cray-cray, so keep your eye out on that. Back to the trade that I'm currently in, IBRX. Where the hell is it? Oops. IBRX, we're still zigging, we're still zagging. We're putting in lower highs, but we're also putting in higher lows. We're still above that technical area of support that I'm looking at, that 20 exponential and VWAP. I do have a plan, DCA into 94s to account for this area crest. I don't mind getting filled there, but anything below this area crest here, then I know I'm wrong, because, well, then it'll be lower highs and lower lows. That isn't my look. I don't want any smoke of that. By the way, guys, HIMS continues to break out into highs. It is now at the high of the day, 72.40. This one is just unbelievably respectful of the 10 exponential moving average. It hasn't had a print below the 10 exponential, wick closer otherwise since 11:05. So we're going on over 40 minutes right now, just topping tailed into 72.40. This could be an interesting long here at around 70. We rejected 70 multiple times. So does 70, which is obviously the whole dollar level and the $10 level, act as support here? Now that we've cleared it by around $2.50, I'm going to be keeping an eye on HIMS, Adara.
Yeah, definitely check him out, or check him out.
Not him, but him.
Yeah, I know. You got to watch for him, right? Yeah. So you actually have to watch for Trenda, because I know you and Trenda have your historic beef. So yeah, I got stopped out of both of my trades here. I'm going to be really real. This has not been quite my day thus far, but that's okay, because you know what? Days keep going. You have more hours in the day. So Eli Lilly, like I said, this long, that was the missed opportunity for me of the day. I stand by. I was like, I don't want to take it before the throw. Whatever. It is what it is. I tried this long here because, and I want to clarify, I had this order, I think we got filled right at 11:45, because I liked it on the previous candle. If I had seen us not being able to, and maybe I should have waited for the break of this candle at that 877. Regardless, I liked it because we were holding this level of support at the time. We were holding the 90 MA on the 3. Then we broke it kind of violently at this point. And when I say 90 MA, I do mean on the 3-minute, not on the 15. Obviously, we broke below it. That's fine. I got slipped almost a point. So not ideal, but you know what? You have to take shots that you like, and I'm going to stand by that. MSTR, I said at a certain point, I had a feeling we would get stopped out of this, but I wanted to wait and honor my stop. We did, in fact, get stopped out of this, but I have no problem flipping this to the long side. I literally don't. I want to see this break above 335, because yesterday, 335 was a war on MSTR. And I'm going to show you guys the 15-minute chart so you can see what I mean, because MSTR, and yeah, this is 335. So we bounce off 335. We reject 335. We come back to 335, and we're like, well, we don't have to break it, do we? And the market was like, no, you don't. So 335 and MSTR is a little bit of scary hours. Shout out to Drake. but I want to see if we can hold that 335. If we can break above that VWAP, I actually like it as a long. I would have to figure out where my risk would be. Knowing me, probably the 15-minute bar low, but given this fun little wick we just caught here, I'm going to probably have to use TradingView to find out what that bar is going to be. We also have SP Williams here with a super chat addressed to you.
I'm responding right now.
Okay, perfect. So I'll let you, Miss Aunt Kathy and Teledog. But also some people asking me about SMCI. So we're going to take a look at SMCI because that thing, yeah, SMC Fly, or like over here, this is super and that is a macro move. Though I wonder, Sharif, what happens if we don't get the filing by February 25th? Because I have a feeling that there might be some broken hearts. And I don't want that. To be clear, I am not like, oh, burn SMCI.
You just want them to burn. So
I don't know.
Short them.
I don't even, like this, I loved this when it was $1 million. Now that it's split, I'm kind of like, eh. Yeah. But, and I saw this breakout, I like this breakout, but I was like, Adara, this is not your bag. Let it be someone else's bag. I do want to congratulate all the SMCI longs. I want to congratulate all the shorts off the open. As Neil mentioned earlier, there were ample opportunities for both sides of the coin. So I do want to shout out every person who was involved in SMCI. This VWAP hold and bounce was beautiful. This breakout was beautiful. And we're still making new day's highs. But again, I would exercise caution on this because we thought we were going to get an actual earnings report from them last week, and we got another preliminary report, and it wasn't great. From what I'm reading, the reason people are even bullish about this now is because their fiscal 2026 outlook is bullish. Their fiscal 2025 outlook is not. So I just want to say to everybody, do the DD, do the due diligence, because SMCI is not that super. Also, I did miss this meta breakout. I was tempted to kind of get in, but that was also when I was, finagling with Lily, I was finagling with MSTR, and I was like, Adara, how many spready tickers can you really give your eye to at this point? And I was like, that's fair. But that 7 to 320 breakout, we did get it. I'll switch up the book here. I need to figure out how to sync these again. But this META here, now well above that level. Now the next level I'd be watching is that 705.70, basically 706 level here. That would be that previous resistance on the 5-minute. Or, yeah, this is the 3-minute and the 15. I just want to see that breakout because if we can break above that level, that would be a nice little reversion for META. So, yeah, hopefully you don't get Zuck in this vortex.
Oh.
But if you do, I hope you're making money on Meta because this curl was gorgeous.
Bro, I don't know what's going on with these prints today, but I'm sitting here waiting on RX. It's crossing multiple times and I'm not getting the print. RX, I'm back into this one reason and one reason only. It got to VWAP. It's strong on the day. There we go. We wet our beak there, so we'll set up a little bit higher on this one. I'm going to wait at 65s next and come what may. Now, again, RX, only reason I'm involved in this name, despite the fact that it broke patterns, I'm trying to catch a bit of a bounce off a predictable level of support. I'm talking about the volume weighted average dang price. So now we're waiting, as I mentioned, mid to low 60s. I also did get my dollar cost average on IBRX. Again, this one was VWAP, so I front ran it. I front ran it at 4. That was above the volume weighted average price. Now the 20 exponential, which I perceive this one to be following, and VWAP are intersecting. So we'll have to see. This one, if it holds, fantastic. Maybe we can get something in and around that 415. Otherwise, as I mentioned, this is my out. This area trough right here, if it makes a lower low below that, why on earth would I hold it? And it's showing me lower high, lower high. Right now, we don't have a lower low, but if we get something below that, that is a lower low, and that isn't the trade for me. So that's what we're doing right now on IBRX. I'm looking for this technical area of support to hold up and move to the high side. Now, I'm not expecting explosions or anything like that through that 4 and a third, 427, which is the high of the day, but that's why we're looking at scalping on this bad boy. Back to RX, where the hell is it at? Okay, here we go. Now it's coming back into 60s. Where are we long? 50s. All right, so let's see if this one wants to cross. Again, this one is a VWAP hold play, simple as that. I'm feeling all sorts of FOMO right now on QBTS because this thing keeps going higher and higher and higher. Let's bring it in, have a look, because we were waxing poetic, to use an Adara term, at that $7 area, which is where I perceive for us to have had a very well-established area of resistance. You got to go all the way back to January 8th for anything above $7 as a close. Now, mind you, you've gotten wicks. Case in point, January 22nd, you wicked up, and then look what happened. You tanked. This one again, on the 24th, you wicked up above 7, you dropped. And then that was basically the last time we even had a dalliance with 7. I mean, we tried to test it back on the 14th on Valentine's Day. That failed. This is the local high here, guys, into the 6.89 since the 24th. So I'm very, very interested in the $7 level and how it, how we trade above that level. Obviously, I'm more interested in this level right here and how the shorts may or may not get squeezed between 8.5 and 10. But in order to get that, we got to clear 7 first. So let's not count our chicks before they hatch, so to speak. So now that's what I'm keeping my eye on. I've already got the alerts. I'm pleased this punch with the trading today. Appreciate you, Dara. Now we just got another print right now on RXRX. I'm looking for that next one at 65, and then I'll be layering my orders into that $0.75 area. Let's have a look at IBRX because this is the more precarious of the trades. Where are we long? We're long 96s. We're showing 99s. This is going to have to hold this level. Now, it's got a higher low, so if you perceive this area to be an area trough, well, that is good news. It doesn't mean it's an area trough. It just means it's good news because this is a lower low, so this would make this the higher low. We'll see. We'll see if that holds or not. Let's talk about JTAI for a minute here because this is the bamboozler in chief. Now, this one did breach VWAP, right? But VWAP is dynamic. Price action support and resistance, especially established price action support and resistance, is not dynamic. That is a static level. And lo and behold, even though it did breach VWAP over here, it did hold this area trough. So it made technically a higher low. So JTAI, despite the fact that it's very bamboozling and definitely has a lot of resistance around that $0.33, definitely at 40s, I'm still very interested in this one because this one can get crazy. It can get parabolic, especially if we can take out local levels of resistance there. I'm not quite ready to get into it yet. I don't need to be first in order to trade well on this one, but I'm keeping my eye on it. You better believe it will remain on the side chart. That is until, of course, it loses $5, at which point I will no longer be interested. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on now. QBTS. Doing that new dance, says Sean B. Bro, I know it. I'm keeping it on one of the side charts over here, but it is currently at highs, give or take. Allow me a minute just to add this bad boy into the watch list so that it updates. For whatever reason, the software doesn't update when I don't have it on the watch list. Okay, there goes 7. So we were talking about 7, Adara. Now 702 is the new high a day on QBTS. I want to see how we trade up here. Again, I really want to emphasize this. We've had a long established area of resistance here at 7 on QBTS. I want to see how we trade up here. If history is any guide, and with trading, usually it is, we usually sell off into this area, and we have been doing so since basically the start of the year. The last time, again, Adara, we've been up above this level on a closing basis was back on January 7th. We traded there for a bit on the 8th, but we were on our way down. So that's the look right there, guys. Hope everybody's doing well. Let's have a look here on IBRX because I'm waiting for some prints on this bad boy. Nice up move we go. It's time to wet the beak over here on this name. We'll extract some profitability, and then we'll wait for 10s. Adara, what do you got over there?
Extract that profitability, Sharif. Go, Sharif. Yeah, I am not in any trades right now. Like I said, today has not necessarily been my day thus far, but guess what? The day's still going, so we're going to be patient. MSCR, I'm going to give you a hard side eye. Is my side eye? Because what are you doing? So I waited this so patiently for an hour. I'm like, oh, I have no reason to leave. Then we break the 15-minute. I get waked out. I respect that. That's fair. I'm cool with that. Do your thing, MSCR. But then I'm like, oh, maybe we'll get this breakout of 335, a level that, as I mentioned, it historically has a bit of a time with. We don't get that 335, then we reject violently. We're basically back to my initial entry in the short. I'm like, MSTR, are you kidding? Now, I do not. Oh, apparently Apple has debuted its new.
It came out early.
iPhone 16e.
Was it supposed to be 1 o'clock?
I didn't even realize there was a time on it, but apparently Sharif showing me iPhone 16e.
$599, Adara, $100 more expensive than the previous version.
Really? I have to. Okay, Obi's being sarcastic because he's an Apple hater. But I want to give not a shout out to my SE. Oh, I'm going to close my notifications.
They got rid of the home button that you've been complaining
about. Oh my God. Okay, Sharif hears me talk about this. So my iPhone SE home button broke on me legit within a month, 2 months of me getting it, and I had a case on it.
She drops her phone. I've seen her drop her phone.
It dropped in a way where it should not have broken. And I looked it up, Sharif, and people break that button in the exact same way. So you know what that is? It's a hard chung for me over there.
Tell Timmy C.
Gotta tell you, Tim, not Timothy Chalamet, Tim Cook. I gotta tell you, Tim Cook, like, hey, no, don't do that. But yeah, going back to stocks, I'm still staring at MSTR, giving it the hardest side eye of all time. Now, do I want to get back in? At this point, not really. Not even because I'm bitter, just because it's not giving me a reason to. But if it does give me a reason to, then I would potentially be interested. And by reason, I just want to see a break at 332s. Because I got short 332.40. I don't think it's broken below 332 since I've gotten in. But Neil's ready for his lesson of the day. And without further ado, got to take it away, Neil.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Dara, lesson of the day. I always have to make sure I'm not muted at the last second. Now, lesson of the day, I'm going to make it a double because it's impossible not to want to talk about the quantum name. So I'll get with what I was going to say about playing or having the ability to play in both directions. I shouldn't say specifically playing in both directions, but being open to the idea that you can like something as a short trade or a long trade, and that something can happen in the market that makes it a reverse for you, that makes it distinctly different. I think SMCI was the best example of that. Admittedly, the jerk chicken was really, really good. I didn't get the break. I wasn't really prepared for the break at the moment that I was getting my lunch and eating, but SMCI, we know the reason. I mentioned the reason why I like this short. It's a multi-day runner. You see that multi-day gap up, and then you already failed a 60 even high once, twice, lower high. So it's a simple opening setup trade where if the sellers win at the lower high at the 60, short it. Intel did exactly the same thing the other day. We talked about that on the other day, meaning Friday, not yesterday. It was a similar principle, multi-day runner. If we fail, it was a little bit different in that it showed some more strength there, and you had to be more patient with it. SMCI was a lot easier. But same thing, like just that flush and then eventually continuation. Now, difference being Intel just continued to the downside. SMCI did something different. I think we can all understand that if you bounce off of a prior day high and then break out the top, that's a long continuation play. That is prior resistance turning into support. If you do that after a huge reversal candle like this and liquidity grab, it's even more bullish. And I was saying this in the moment. Now, why I'm making it the lesson of the day is, well, there was a breakout trade available to you. Maybe I'll get like a reversion bounce long or something like that. But the other side of this could be, if this is so bullish, why wait for the breakout? There's a wedge that you have here. I'll draw it for you. Make it simple. There's a wedge into VWAP. When it breaks that wedge, you can have a long right in here at 59.40. That's about 50 pennies worth of risk to the prior little support low on a stock which is already put in a $5 range or $4.50 range on the day and has basically done that kind of a range every single day. And you can risk 50 cents going into that reversal long. So oftentimes, okay, fine, breakout trade would have worked too. Take the local break, you make like 60, 70 cents, maybe even like $1. Or there's always the availability here for the reversal once you've determined that's a bullish looking sub. So I was out of the short essentially when it broke this, but the long trade is going to be there. And that's sort of the idea. Like you don't want to have your bias get the best of you. You also could have shorted it back at the $60 level. There were more opportunities in there for SMCI. But the gist of it to me is, despite the fact it was like my number one idea for a short trade, it'll be my best stock, there was a long earlier than what I anticipated once we knew that's a reversal. That is a bullish looking reversal candle off the prior low, should find longs a little bit sooner. Now, the second thing I wanted to mention is these quantum stocks. Now, unless you're under a rock in the last hour, you guys have all seen what's happened to IonQ, Rigetti, QBTS. All I want to quickly point out, and Oba and I were just talking about this as we were having our lunch and all that stuff, or finishing the morning show as well. Look for simple continuation plays. I'm not that dude that wants to be chasing Rigetti up at 1150, hoping it breaks that out. But what you can find is look where this pulls back to. Easy peasy off of VWAP consolidation higher break. That's a simple trade that you can now get Rigetti long with 15 cents worth of risk, and we all know what Rigetti can do. And if you think that one is good, look at QBTS. So there's your volume spike on the Microsoft breakthrough. There's it making the high. This is now 15 minutes later. You don't have to have all that FOMO or go crazy. All you have to do is be patient with this. Why? The prior high is $6.20. Yesterday's high is $6.20. Well, not the high, but resistance off the morning rush. You have essentially what amounted to a double top that broke out on a piece of news. Then you have it pull back on this 3-minute chart, bounce off that level almost clean to get back to the high, go right back down to that level again, and then slowly creep along before breaking out. The level of patience you could have for that move, now I wasn't looking at QBTS, obviously, but the level of patience that you can have with a move like that to essentially get your one entry when, I don't know, however you want to do it. Like personally for me, like I would look at it something like this and just say, okay, it's got this. Once it breaks this trend, you just take that breakout here. That's about 630. Your stop's 15, 20 cents. Again, like Rigetti, you know the stock can move $1, so your risk to reward is going to be good. And you don't have to get out of pocket with your trade. And I could throw up IonQ as well, and it wouldn't be anything, whoops, that's Blue Ocean. Shout out to Blue Ocean for IonQ. Well, now I'm going to have to pivot to throwing that up on another chart so we can do this for real again on the black chart. Because IonQ is basically the same thing. And oftentimes, the reaction to news is a FOMO style trade because you're like, oh my goodness, it's going, it's going, it's going. You do not want to be the exit liquidity for all those algos. Another stock pulls into an obvious level. So we've had VWAP on Rigetti. On QBTS, you have it pulling back into what was morning range resistance yesterday, pre-market resistance today. On IonQ, where does it dip into? Basically just, oh, what, prior high and prior close? Yeah, that's not a level at all. That's not a place that you should be obviously looking for a technical bounce, and then it gives you the same reversion trade right back into the top. Again, risking 20, 30 pennies for a dollar move. You do not have to have these crazy predictions as to what is going to happen next in the market. Oftentimes, like we try to outsmart the market by being like, this is going to go here. Rigetti's going to go up for the rest of the day. IonQ is going to go up for the rest of the day. You know what? I don't care. I would just rather get an execution where if it goes down, I lose 20 cents, 30 cents. If it goes up, you make 50 cents to $1 in the move. Something like SMCI, which is still strong. It doesn't matter. I don't have to predict where it's going to go for the rest of the day. How about just if it fails this lower high and holds, I can short the 60, giving it the top. And I can play it to the pre-market lower, I can play it to there. And if it ends up holding one of those lows and breaks out the top, it also can be a long. Who cares? You don't have to predict what direction the stock is going to go from the open to the end of the day close. All you have to do is find a price area that you want to trade at with a reason to go in a particular direction and have an out. And sometimes it can be both. With the case of SMCI, it could be both. In the case of those quantum names, it can just be, forget about the FOMO. You had 20, 30 minutes that you could have worked into a long on that pullback. And a couple of them, I think, gave you a very, very tight risk. So I'm kind of mad that I wasn't paying more attention. Although I will say this, that jerk chicken was absolutely fire. And I still haven't even finished my salad. Adara, I'm just throwing this out there. You probably don't want to try the jerk chicken. I'm not saying it's ridiculously spicy for me. It's like maybe like a 3 or 4. But you might want to, maybe have a small bite just to taste it. But don't scarf it down or anything. It's pretty spicy. There's your lesson of the day, everybody. Good luck trading during lunch and go SMCI.
Thank you very much, Neil. All right, guys, JTI broke out above that $0.50. We're involved. I've scalped out a little bit over here. Now I'm waiting at the high side of 60s. There is a seller in the low to mid 60s changing their position, sometimes at 64s, sometimes at 65s. They're stacking the ask. So we're going to have to see whether we can break through it or not. So I've taken out a little bit over here. Anything below low 40s, I'm out. This is going to have to maintain its momentum. I'm not looking at dollar cost averaging and, digging myself a deeper hole on this bad boy, because this could find its way right back into 6 quick as you like. So JTAI, where are we long? 56s. I've scalped up like 10 pennies at the best there. Looking for a little bit higher over here. Let's see if this one wants to break into that $0.75 area. That's where I'm waiting. Boom, moves into 70s. Now it's got a seller at 70. Let's see if this one can continue. It's having a lot of trouble taking out these levels. So I'm a little concerned that it can mean revert. We can see a topping tail candle quick as you like. We did take out some selling though in the mid 60s, but they, reinstitute their position. It's not a problem for them. So packing my patience on this one. Anything below, as I mentioned, mid 40s, I am gone on this bad boy. Still holding IBRX, Adara. How you doing over there?
I'm doing well. We're in this MSTR short right now. Now, MSTR and I have a bit of a history. No, I'm joking. It's not really history. I want to clarify, because people were mentioning they have different experiences trading the stock. I will admit MSTR is very slippy when it comes to slippage. It's very volatile, but it's also become one of my favorite stocks to trade lately. I would say I have MSTR side chart up at its book up pretty much every day, because it is one of those rare spready tickers that gives you something pretty much every day. So I like to watch it. So again, I got short here this low of daybreak because I liked all these little boop boop at that 332.40s. I gave it 2 points, which was fair because those are the prior bar highs. We get stopped out, then it immediately breaks. So I was like, you know what, Adara, no trade, no cry, get back in. And I'm very pleased. I'm risking a quarter of what I risked the first time because we have more data. Now, what more data do I have, you may ask? Well, as mentioned earlier, my previous entry was 332.40s. So I was willing to re-enter the short at that price. But then I noticed we can't even get to 332.40. So I say, you know what, Adara? Get short 332s, which we are giving you a bit anemically, and then risk to that 332.50s. Because if we know you can't get to 332.50s, that to me makes sense as an area to get involved. I am pleased as punch with that entry as of right now. Just made a new low of day, and no, this big old wick does not count because this big old wick was not real. I saw it happen. Now, for profit taking, lately what I've been trying to do is just kind of chill. I had a trade yesterday on MSTR. It was a nice trade off the open, and there are way too many profit takers. Like, it looks like a child stabbed a crayon with this thing. So I'm trying to breathe a little bit. That being said, I will be taking off probably 70% around 330s. Why will I be taking off 70% around 330s? I'm going to use my old handy trade ideas to show you, or trading view. Look at this 3. Would you look at that, to use that meme that Obi's always quoting? Rejection, 331. Rejection. We have this beautiful breakout. We come back yesterday. Reject, 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 breakout, and then today potentially bounce. So I want to be very cautious of that level. That is what I'm doing here in M to the S, to the T, to the R, about 70 to 90 cents in the money, depending on what side of the bid or ask you're looking at. Lily also kind of coming into an interesting area, so still watching her from afar, but not willing to dance with Mademoiselle quite yet. Meta cannot get over that hump just above 706, so I'm not watching this unless maybe for a short, but I want to be patient there. Just chilling with my mister.
JTAI broke out, guys. I got right back in at 59s, and we scalped into 90s on this wall, a little bit below 90, but it's having trouble, so topping tail into 7. And look what we did prior. This is not a shock that we're going to have selling in and around here. Somebody clearly was offloading a position in and around $7. It doesn't have to be exactly 7. As I mentioned, when you're picking something up off support, there's other people that are going to be more exuberant than you. They're going to have their orders ahead of yours. So sometimes it doesn't make its way down into support. Likewise with resistance, it doesn't have to make its way all the way up. Right now I have top wick on this bad boy, and it's putting in an ugly topping tail candle on the 5 in much the same way that it did over here. JT dang AI. It's a bamboozler. You're going to have to be super quick with it. The money fill obviously was this 580 area. You don't have to be a chartered market technician to see that it held up twice in and around 580. This is why I suck as a trader. I could have put that 580 order there and then, given it to the $0.75. Alas, I did not. So we're looking to scalp here near the highs. Now, let me tell you, we still have technically a lower high. So even though this one is on one currently, looking to take out 7, if you were to base it off the previous area high, which is 715, this 695 is technically a lower high. So definitely still a little bit of, a bit of pressure to the high side here on JTAI, but this is in play. It behooves you to use resting orders as well. I had resting orders, hence why I was able to get top wick on this one, because it doesn't hang out in the price level for all that long. That's just the nature of these beasts. They move awfully quick, and unless you're Speedy Gonzalez or whatever, you're not going to be able to catch these. Well, I can't. Maybe you can. So I'm keeping my eye on it because right now it's putting in another higher low here on the 5. So the previous low on the previous 5-minute candle was 47s. The current one that we're on right now, 65s. So we've got higher lows, even though we have pressure from the top side here at around 7. I'd say the pressure really comes in fast and furious in the mid 80s to low 90s. JTAI on one right now. Definitely looking at getting back in. Just got to get in at the appropriate level. So I think if we squeeze above 7.15, all hell is going to break loose. As we've talked about, there is definitely an interesting level in and around there on JTAI that we've been holding for a period of months. And here we go again. So the buying coming in really aggressively. Low 90s we go, and pressure comes in again, pushing us back down in the 80s. But this one could be breaking out now as I watch the amount of volume come in on JTAI. Higher lows in play as well, guys. This one is on one. If you like small cap gappers, this has to be one of your focuses right now. But I'm about to get stopped out of my other position here. IBRX just lost VWAP. That is not what I want. That is now we're about 5 pennies out of the money on this one, and I just got stopped out of that one. So IBRX will take our first L on the day. Keep your eye out on that one. I'm not interested in picking it up unless and until it gets above that 4 1/5. So we've had higher lows, umpteen amount of higher lows on IBRX since, allow me a second over here, since this area over here, which got into about 415. So it's been a symphony of lower highs on IBRX. So somebody with, with intent looking at pushing this bad boy down. Now it's breaching VWAP. However, if you're still involved, I would say to you, 380, that's the area trough that we kind of double bottomed off. Previously to that, we had resistance at around 380. That took us to around 940 and 945. So even though I got stopped out here, I'm still interested in this bad boy if it does hold that 380, 375, and then curls back up. Back to JTAI, because this one's still talking about taking that $7 area. We do have a double top, though, on the 5-minute. 695 high, 695 high. So 2 candles in a row right now on JTAI on the 5-minute chart, topping out at 95s. So even though I didn't see the sell come in on the level 2 in real time, I can tell you that there is a seller of a note at 95s, obviously, because we've topped out there twice. Keeping an eye on this one, Adair. What do you? Oh, we have a super chat.
Oh yeah.
Tuan Vu, 500 something or another. We'll find out what that is in a second. What do you guys think about LAES for today's quantum play? Great question. One name that we know very well on the show, as we've reported on it many times. LAES. Let's have a look. Show yourself.
Reveal yourself.
Yeah, clearly. All right, so what are we doing on the day here, Dare? We got 14%, 13.74%. It's a $3 name. We're still below local highs, obviously, so you're definitely going to encounter some local resistance into that 4 1/4, 450. Let's flip to the 5. This is the 4-hour currently on LAES. Okay, so it looks like as if it's respectful of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. And it doesn't have to stay that way now that it's kind of topped off at that $3.50 area. But as you can see, since we broke out beginning of the show at 11 o'clock when we got that quantum news, I don't know if it was on Rigetti or what, but this one rocketed up and it's been respecting the 10 exponential ever since then, both on a close and a wick basis. However, this is the most prolonged area of consolidation we've had since that breakout at 11. So does it mean that it respects the 10 exponential every single time? Probably not. Does it do it this time? It might. We'll keep an eye out on that one. I like it possibly a little bit of a deeper retracement, maybe that 3 1/4, give or take. But we did have that short report on
I was just thinking about that.
Just to let everybody know.
Yeah, so there's a short report from a short seller I've actually never heard of before called Blue Orca Capital. And I'm just going to read you guys the whole tweet. We are short Teladoc Health, and then they have the ticker, which is TDOC, because evidence shows that patients on the BetterHelp platform pay for mental health therapy from licensed therapists, but with meaningful frequency, they unknowingly receive, quote, therapy from AI. We think this is rotten. So I want to read more about this report here. Apparently, you have to actually give your email to read the report. So, I might be short Blue Orca for that. I don't like that. Because I do have to shout out, RIP Hindenburg, the guy's still alive, don't worry. But the company is not. He decided to close it. So Hindenburg, though, you didn't have to log in to do anything. Same with Hunter Brooks. So I do have to give a little bit of a Brian Nichols shrug or side eye there to our friends at Blue Orca. I also want to thank Shahar for the super chat. Great channel listening all day. First YouTube donation. Well, Shahar, we are honored to be your first YouTube donation. We are pleased as punch. And we thank you very much for your support for the channel and everybody's support for the channel and everyone for being here.
No question. No question about it.
Yeah, I mean, that absolutely, that's what we do over here. MSTR, like Michael Saylor and I are going to have words. No, I'm joking. But my strategy with MicroStrategy, I guess now known as strategy, was I like this low of day breakdown short. It wicked me out the first time. Try it again. Now, I knew this was going to be a little bit of a tricky one because, and I'll pull up my trading view again so I can show you guys, just because I have the line written up. That is my pal Lily. But look at this line in MSTR. This has been huge support resistance over the last few days, this 331 level. I was like, well, maybe it'll be 330 will be a better level, so I'll just wait. Yeah, that didn't happen. I went from over $1 in the money to out of the money in a second. But then MSTR was like, oh, actually, never mind. I want to keep pushing lower. And I was like, thank you, MicroStrategy. We appreciate your service. That being said, I still want to recognize the fact that it does like that 331. So I'm going to be taking out 30% of my position there. The rest, though, I actually don't have like hard profit takers on. I want to wait and see what happens. I was involved in the same yesterday, and I traded it long, and I traded it short. So I know what levels it kind of respects. That 328.30s actually would be interesting. I would definitely be looking to take some profit out there. What I found, though, with regards to, I think sticking to your plan is huge, but what I found, what I'm trying to do is I continue to evolve as a trader. The parts of my plan that I should be emphasizing the most, okay, we just got to peace out, let's go, are going to be my entry and my stop. My profit takers, or I'm going to be a little bit more, I don't want to say loosey-goose with it, but I want to, as long as the trade's still working, I don't want to force myself out of the trades. I do not want charts that look like crayons because I have so many outs that I've just like stabbed with it, right? I want to make sure I'm breathing, taking my time, and just chilling out in the trade. MSTR, my stop is still, I haven't moved it, it's still 332.50s, and I'm comfortable keeping it there because of how violent this one has been today. I would love to see us Michael Saylor away with some profits, but unfortunately, it has been so loosey-goosey that I think you've got to keep these stops a little bit loosey-goosey in response. So I always love this here. I'm trading like MicroStrategy, you're trading this small cap. Very distinct worlds over here, distinctly different styles of trading, but if it works for you guys, it works for you. So shout out to everybody here in the chat. Come on, NVIDIA, push, says Mad World.
Show yourself,
we'll take a look
NVIDIA.
at there. Show yourself, NVIDIA. NVIDIA, as I mentioned earlier, was kind of chilling. I still see it as kind of chilling, but I now see even clearer support in this 3-minute here at, what is this, 139.50s. And we just kind of made a higher low, but also a lower high. I think, as someone said here, push, I think NVIDIA has to choose a direction. I don't know if it has yet, so I will say with NVIDIA, be patient, wait and see what happens. I think if we make a higher high here off that 140 area, of course, 140 a pretty key level, I think that would be a great look. And I have to shout out Joe, who I know is a trader of NVIDIA. Go, Joe. Sorry, guys, I'm not really trading NVIDIA or any of these Mag 7s. I did have eyes on Meta, but it hasn't done anything for me. I really have moved towards basically purely trading my spready stocks. I don't want to change my strategy for the sake of the show. So speaking of strategy, we are still in that short. We're going to see what happens there. But I do want to shout everyone out. JCB Sports Card, before I send it back to Sharif, saying, hey, y'all, Bat, did I miss any catalyst causing this to get so much volume? You did not miss any catalyst, JCB Sports Card. We do see sometimes with these small caps, once they kind of have those parabolic moves before, they do get some retail attention. And Bat, I guess, is back up to bat there, taking its turn at the small cap gapper mill. This analogy ran out of steam. How are you doing?
Okay. Good look right now on JTAI.
Yes.
We're back involved in this one. Let's see if it wants to take 7 again. I'm layering the orders. We're showing mid-90s. I'm long, low 80s. Here we go. Let's take out a little bit over here. See if this one wants to weasel back up. Showing me 95s now. We're layering in front of 7s, but the print is not forthcoming, so this one did topping till into 7 1/3, 738 technically, but it did hold the previous high or the previous low. So the previous low on the candle of 1215 was 65s. This one held 69, so technically a higher low. Let's see if this one wants to squeeze back into the high side. As I mentioned, I'm waiting the high 90s, but this one's got a seller in the mid 90s. So we're unable to take any more prints, and I don't want to take any more out over here and exhaust all the outs. Andre, I missed that. Sorry, brother. What'd you say?
Ad read.
Ad read. Okay, you got it?
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah, sorry. We will hear way more about JTAI there after we hear about concussions. Thank you to our sponsor, OGEN here, Orgagenics, because each year, 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S., but there's still no FDA-approved treatment. NYSE listed Orgagenics, OGEN is changing that with its first-in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Oragenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more and schedule a meeting today, and I do apologize to Oragenics for my mispronunciation of your name, but shout out to OGEN generating some awesome treatment there for concussions. So that is serious business. So shout out to O, the G to the E to the N, and I will send you back to your small cap.
Yes, no worries. All right, so we took in everything, or sorry, not everything. We've taken out almost everything, 2 more outs. It's back into my entry. My out will be exactly where I said, 69s, because, well, obviously I'll have to lose a little bit there, but that is the previous candle low. So if it doesn't hold the previous candle low, then I want no smoke. So let's go ahead and throw that bad boy on there right now. We're going to go ahead and wait at 67s. Give it a little bit of room, whatever. No big deal, no big deal. So we'll throw that bad boy there. In case this one flushes, I've given it about 10 pennies worth of spread. Now, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, these small cap gappers, they can take out levels, and I'm talking about 5, 6, maybe 10 levels in a row. What does that mean? Each price here is a level. So 87s, 88s, 89s. With these small cap gappers, when they get a big seller of note, they can wipe out, like, say, 5, 6 levels in a row. So unless your spread on your stop accounts for that, accounts for the possible illiquidity that could result in an event that somebody big sells, you won't get stopped out. And then you'll be sitting there with your stop just showing up on the screen, not having triggered. So avoid that kind of bad trading habit and give yourself a good amount of room in between your trigger price and your stop price. I really can't stress that enough. So we're a little bit out of the money right now on this bad boy, but we've already taken some profits into 7. So I'm feeling comfortable. Even if I do get stopped out, it's all good there. We won't give too much back. So again, it's going to have to hold this area right here. As you can see, there we go. Just got stopped out. And I hope everybody watched that in real time. And if you didn't watch that in real time, please rewind and look at exactly what happened there. It took out all the levels in a quarter second. And that's what these small cap gappers can do. They can take out levels very aggressively. So if you don't have proper stop placement, proper techniques for your stop placement, you won't get triggered, and then you'll be out of the money even more. So make sure you are thinking about that if you're going to trade these small cap gappers. Now, I'm interested in possibly getting in and around, again, on JTA, even though I don't want to give too much back here, at around 650 to 640. The reason I say that is because there was a whole lot of chop and churn with that 640 acting as resistance. We've cleared it by a substantial amount, having gone to 738. So almost $1 clear of it. Now, do we use it as support on the way down? I don't need to be first. I don't have to have a resting order at 640, at 650 in order to get in. What I need to see is drop down to that level or anywhere around that level, find buying, and then move back up. By definition, you give some profits back by doing that because you don't have the best price. But that's fine with me. It's a trade-off I'm willing to make in order to get that confirmation. So I'm keeping my eye on JTAI right now because it's the best looking one so far. Sadly, a lot of the ones that I was looking at are no longer tradable. Let's bring in the side charts and complain about them.
Let's do it.
Right, OSRH below VWAP, not tradable under my system, and it's been putting in lower highs too. This one looks like it's gonna flat bottom break through that 7.25, maybe $7. I'm talking about OSRH. IBRX got stopped out of that one for the remaining amount. It's also putting in lower highs and looking like maybe flat bottom breakish there through 380, 375. So that displeases me. RXRX as well gave up the ghost at VWAP. It gave up the ghost at price action support, and now it's trading into local area low. So that one displeases me as well. JTI, you guys heard enough about, so I'm not going to wax poetic about that. SLDB. This is the one that I feel very bad about myself for not having traded. I can kind of make myself feel a little bit better in the sense that I complained about the fact that it was an inside day. And I didn't know how we would react once we got into the highs, because you have to make the assumption there are bag holders holding this from yesterday at 7.5, 7 3/4, even 8. This one weaseled all the way up into about 840. So that was my concern about this one. It looks like that concern was unwarranted because it continues to trade with higher highs and higher lows. In fact, much closer to the highs is SLDB than it is to the lows. So I think I got that one wrong. The one that I even got worse wrong is this one, HIMS, a bit of a more expensive one. This one I started looking at like $69. It got all the way up to 73. So this was a bull flag breakout. I mean, you don't need to be a chartered market technician to see this. Big move up, directional, that's the flagpole, and then we actually have the flag itself. And this is this consolidation area over here. And again, look, it looks clean. It looks super clean with the lower highs, and then you get the decided trend break. I know Neil always draws these local trend lines connecting area highs and area lows, and if they break the trend, he gets at a dodge. I didn't do that. Should have done that with HIMS, was concerned about the price, didn't want to give too much back. That's on me. But it's still trading well. I'll submit to you an interesting area for support on HIMX, $70. Not just because it's the whole dollar level, not just because it's the $10 level, but look how many times we danced with 70 as resistance. We danced with it as resistance. And then we even consolidated a little bit at 70 once we reached it after dropping all the way back to 66. We didn't immediately break it. We had about a 15-minute area consolidation before this big boy candle came in here at 1140. So HIMS in focus, Adara. RSLS continues to be in focus. This one, though, a bit of a problem. Given the price, underline that, given the price, it has a wide range per candle. I've talked about this before. I'll talk about it again for those who don't know. That means, relative to the previous candles, I don't know what it had been doing before, the price ranges, the range, the top end of the candle to the bottom end of the candle is quite wide. So you need to account for that. Obviously, it's price-based. Relative, to price-based. You need to account for that with sound stop placement and sound profit-taking placement, your beak wetters. Why? That's the wrong one there. Because if you place your stop too tight, you will get wicked out, obviously, because it's got wide reach per candles. And then if you don't place your profit takers at a lofty enough level, you'll end up leaving a lot on the table, leaving a lot of money on the table. So I don't think anybody wants that. So keep your eye out on RSLS. It continues to trade at highs. And let's put some dang respect on this one's name, man. It's up 63%. It's $1.75. I get that. Not a lot of people like these ones. They call them penny stocks, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, it's got a predictable higher low situation with higher highs. $1.85 high day. Adara LePage.
Sharif, go real. No, I have to shout out, when you said penny stocks, fully reminded me of our friend, not our friend, but Jordan Belfort. Jordan. Yeah, I don't know if anyone knows that song by I think it's Wes Walker, but I be getting dirty money, Jordan Belfort. Anyways, shout out to that. Don't know why that's in my head. But yeah, shout out to penny stocks, and to completely flip the table, I'm still in MSTR. Now, my strategy on this micro strategy is to stay in this short until I get wicked out here on my stop on the 5-minute prior bar high. So with that in mind, and I have to say, I kind of love, you don't love it at the time, but you love it in retrospect. I love when stocks get to your stop, like kiss it, don't stop you out, and then come back to doing what they were doing, come back to the regularly scheduled programming. You know why? Because it tells you that that area is of interest. Okay, we just took out, we're about half out right now. I don't love that we're half out of this, but I knew I had to take some profit because, like I said, that 331 level was very potent. Please pretend I didn't say that word. And so because that 331 was so potent,
good.
Thank you. I wanted to be careful of that. That being said, I have zero profit-taking ideas for MSTR until there's 328.30s at this point, now that I've kind of cleared a little bit of the runway. Why 328.30s? Well, as you could see here yesterday, this is the 15th. We bounced off it once. We bounced off it twice. We bounced off it thrice. And we make higher lows. So with that in mind, I like Sharif's hand gesture. It's great to be back here with you, man.
Hey.
Thank you guys for having me back on this desk. But with that in mind, I want to see the 328.30s. Once we break below 330, I'm going to start getting some profit takers ready. I want to get that beak a little drenched. But when you get the beak wet, you have to be very careful, Sharif, that you don't get rinsed in the process.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah, you don't want that, right? Don't do that. So that's going to be on watch there. Mark Westhoff saying, I'm glad she has not mustache. I'm also glad I have not.
Yeah,
not
I'm pretty sure she's happy. I'm happy. Most people around here are going to be happy about that.
Sorry, I just got to kick out of that. I had to read that comment. Shout out to you, Mark. Also, I was joking about this to Sharif too at the time, but if you guys have seen our 500,000 subscriber video they put on YouTube and Instagram, and thank you guys to everyone for helping us get there and for being the reason we got there. I was saying to Sharif, it's so funny. There is a shot in that video where Sharif has no facial hair, and for a second, I was shook, and I knew him during this period. We were on this desk during the period.
Yeah, you're like, I forgot there was that period where you had no facial hair.
I'm telling you, my eyes like lit up. But yeah, shout out to New York Cent. I'm happy to be back here with the energy. What are other people looking at in terms of tickers? Because I don't want to continue to wax poetic about my MSTR. AAPL I've actually had up here, and you might be like, Adara, AAPL? AAPL honestly was probably earnings day 1 and day 2 for APP. I was telling Sharif about this. This was like probably maybe my trade of the month, like some of my favorite stuff I've ever looked at here. This APP, I had it up on my side chart for earnings day 3. It is not done, or I guess now it's day 4. It hasn't really done much for me, but I just think it's interesting, these higher highs, higher lows, kind of bouncing at VWAP, but not doing too much right now. But I just wanted to pull up APP. I think it's interesting too, this almost $500 ticker doing $2.5 million in volume on earnings day 4. So I got to give it props for that. I'm not looking at much else right now. Garmin is still uptrending though. Garmin, not a ton of volume, but I think it's one to watch out for, pun intended, because I do watch this. But yeah, I like these higher lows, higher highs, but not as pushy to the upside as I would like. Maxi Jr. has 14 shares of AAPL, so shout out to you. That is a great look. If you had that before earnings, especially, I mean, shout out. That is fabulous. They were like $30, I think, away from all-time highs. So we'll take a look at SoFi right now here for Anish. SoFi needs to break to the downside or the upside, because right now I have to say it does look a little bit hockey stick-esque, as the pal to the right of me, Sharif would say, because you've got this base, we have this VWAP projection, and then we have these lower highs with this bottom. Now, to be clear, the bottom is not as flat bottom as you might want for this break, but it's certainly pushing to the downside. I'm going to look at a daily on SoFi, because SoFi is a chart that I have to admit I'm not that acquainted with. This looks like a zigzag. We had this beautiful, I have to say, beautiful uptrend. Then we kind of crack it. We start making lower highs, lower lows. Then start of the year, we push to the upside, make this high, then putting back to the downside. So on a wider time frame, still, I mean, I think in the new year, we've got these higher highs, higher lows, but SOFI certainly removed from this clear resistance of 1850 on the daily chart. With that in mind, I have to go 10 to my MSTR because I think I should have moved to stop there, but I'm going to see how you're doing.
All right, man. We're just on one today with JTAI. Got in at 73s there. Scalp into the 90s. Got everything out. Then this one was continuing to be strong. Got in low 90s again. Scalped up on the break of 7. This one is trouble though. It has a lot of resistance at 7. I just won't be convinced otherwise. I wanted to hold north of 7. In fact, I actually had my next beak wetter right over here, right where I fat finger. Well, I didn't fat finger. I got in there on purpose at 7.15, but this one wasn't having it. And you can kind of tell with these small cap gappers after you trade them a while, once the tape starts slowing down, that you know the selling is coming in, right? A lot of the momentum with these small cap gappers really has to do with how the tape and the book are moving. When they flash a certain way, when the level 2 and the time and sales are really coming in aggressively, and I've mentioned this before, I use colors on my time and sales for a specific reason. I want to see buyer exuberance or seller exuberance. So on my time and sales, on every screen, whether I'm trading small cap gappers or not, when you see orange like you're seeing right now, right there, that is people buying above the ask. And what that tells you is that buyers are very exuberant to get in. When you see blue, that means people are selling below the bid. That means they want to get the hell out of there. So when I see flashes of orange coming in and, speed pick up, we call that tape teleportation, then I know that there is support for the move up. When I don't see that, in fact, when I see that and then it stops, I'm concerned. because usually that means the sellers are coming in or the buying that was really pushing this one is drying up. In either case, I don't want to hold it, right? So that's why I got the hell out of there, and we've got top wick so far on this bad boy. I'm going to continue to try to trade this Adara because it really does feel like it's building in for that 7 break. It's putting in higher lows, whether you're looking at the 1 minute time frame or the 5 minute, the higher lows are definitely in play. With that, you could say the pre-market lows around 4, with, you know, the after the bell low right at around 10 or so was at 5. Then we held 6 for a while there at the volume weighted average price, and now we've got an area low of 6.5. So I feel that the higher low situation is in play, but the selling at that $7 area is still overwhelming the buying into that page. So, or into that level, excuse me. So I'm keeping my eye on it. Definitely interested in taking it more to the high side, but it's gotta set up the right way. Let's see what the chat is up to here. I haven't been looking. What's up, Obi? CVS has news. Obi says that the director bought 30,000 shares. That's it.
At a price of $66.70.
Bought it at $66.70, 30,000 shares. It's breaking out. Oh, thank you for that call. And we saw CVS blow out earnings. Adara, they did really well, despite the analysts, you know, really not feeling that was going to be the case. There's the spike up there. Obi, absolutely accurate. Appreciate that from the Obi. He is the one. Knob 66. We were hanging out. There he is, saying, "Oh boy," as he typically does.
Oh boy.
66. We were hanging out at a high day right now. 67.17, guys. So good breakout there on CVS. I was going to look at the chat there. Apologize, I digressed. UCS FCU. Thoughts on IBRX? I'm in at 395, brother. I like IBRX. I like your entry, but I'm going to tell you this. My humble opinion is you get the hell out of there if it breaks this area low. I'm talking about that 380 area low. Now, I mentioned this already. This double top over here at the initial open, 377, essentially same crap as 380. Yeah, you know what I mean. I was going to drop the Katita Man liberties there, but I don't have that. The 380, guys, is what I'm looking at there. If it breaks that, UCS, I'd get out of there. And besides, you've got lower highs, and it looks as if this might be also a flat bottom break. But let's not sing this one's or write this one's obituary quite yet. Let's see if it gets. But again, to answer your question, anything below this area here, get out of Dodge. What else we got going on? Airy pages, ups, UPS, obviously, to instant transmission alongside teleportation. Ups?
Oh, I think just saying big ups.
Oh, gotcha. I appreciate you. Okay, I thought you were talking about UPS there. Can I tell you about my friend in law school? He was so funny because it was in England, right?
Yeah.
So he came from here because there was like 50 Canadians that were in the same law school, right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because they bring people from Canada. They recruit openly.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so hold on. So he was a little younger than me, so I'll give him a little bit of leeway there.
You told me that.
And he's like, yeah, we have this company over here in Canada too. It's called Ups. I'm like, bro, what did you call it, bro? Well, Ups. Anyway, he never lived that down. He never lived that down. Anyway, he was Russian, and the walls were super thin. He always talking to his old man on like whatever Skype or whatever back in the day. Like pa 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 ka, pa 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 ka, which means okay, dad in Russian.
But like over and over.
And over. So he was known as Ups and pa 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 ka. Shout out to pa 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 ka, whatever.
Papa Powell.
Having a good time. New York cents a dare. Let's see what he's saying up here.
Nice.
What are your thoughts on a short on Intel at 26? I'm going to leave that one for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely want to look at that. To New York cents, I will get to that. I want to quickly talk about VZ, though, Verizon, for our friend Cameron in the chat. So I literally responded to Cameron. I said, oh, look at this. I love this chart because, I mean, we get our second pushback of the day here for VZ. Sharif, this is a flat top break if I've ever seen one. This is beautiful. Push to the upside. Flat top at 41.73s, I think. Higher low, higher low, higher low. Now we're chilling above the 90 MA. This is beautiful. This Verizon is communicating to me upside. Let's take a look at the 15-minute and the 30. We'll do the 30. Okay, so this is just straight up. I was going to see if there's any levels here. This has been on an uptrend for a while here for VZ. I'm going to see the daily chart if you have any resistance. Should we break out? Because I think one thing with breakouts that you really have to look at is, should we break out? Where do you want to take profit? where are any levels? Because that's something, I remember I had an Eli Lilly breakout once and I was like, oh, this is dope. It's like, this is that $11 one. And I was like, but where do you take profit on it? Because when things are up so much, sometimes you need to see the bigger picture. For me, the bigger picture on VZ is this 42.25 area. We've had a couple wicks into that. If you want a little bit lower, I'm seeing that, I guess this 42 level in general, it's a whole dollar level. We've had wick after wick after wick into it. So I would say be cautious of 42. Should we break out? Then that 42.25 also seems like it could be a level. And you want to like say things could move infinitely. Verizon's already up, not even a point on the day, but just be aware there are some potential areas that you could watch out for on the daily. But then we have Intel short from 2 New York Cent. I mean, I want to show it Obi because Obi has been the Intel whisperer as of late. He said bye-bye to Amazon. He's like, Amazon, who dis?
Wow.
And move it over to, no, I'm joking. I'm not trying to disrespect. This Intel, okay, 2 New York Cent. I think I see what you're seeing. Correct me if I'm wrong. But like we got wick after wick after wick into this $2.72 level. And now we're rejecting, not only rejecting 26th Street, but we're also rejecting VWAP. I gotta say, I don't hate this as a short. I don't want to give no advice. And the thing is too, with this trade, I would say, if you're gonna give it, quote, real risk, I would say you kind of have to give it to VWAP. So you're giving it 20 to 30 cents. So not insignificant, but keep an eye out for this one here for INTC, because I think if you break that 70s, there are some potential areas. That being said,
Give me my money, boy.
Give him his money. This is basically a one-to-one trade because you're risking 30 cents and you're making maybe what, like 30, 35. So I would be cautious of that. That being said, if it sets up, if it's good probability, get involved. Andre, what was the ad read for?
I got it.
Okay, perfect. Sharif has that. After that, I'll talk about MSTR because that thing has been wild to watch.
All right, calendar. We're going to go into the calendar, Adair. All right, here we go. Allow me a minute, guys. I do apologize trying to do that. Here we go. With an FDA-cleared proprietary database of over 77,000 brain images, Firefly is transforming healthcare with AI-driven diagnostics, providing a clear, data-backed understanding of brain health. After more than a decade and over $60 million in investment, Firefly is advancing commercialization of its brain networks analytics platform, BNA for short, bringing the technology to clinicians and pharmaceutical partners. Firefly is enhancing the diagnosis and treatment of conditions such as depression, dementia, anxiety disorders, concussions, and ADHD, while also accelerating drug discovery and early screening for conditions just like Alzheimer's. As Dara, I'm going to say this, I say it all the time, I champion that cause. Anything like that, obviously, we're going to give you the nod on. Just hope you succeed in what you do. We're talking about Firefly. Obviously, these conditions afflict my family. I don't know about yours, but that's the situation there. Adara, here's what I was yelling about.
Please tell us.
I'm sorry. But yeah, not Firefly. JTAI is on one, boy. New high a day into 745. We got long 709. Scalp. All the way up into 730. So pleased with this one. I'll get back in. I've been trading this one all day. I'll get back in, set up the right way. I'd like to see it defend a 7. I'd like to see it move back up, maybe to 740s, and then come back in and give me a predictable level of support. I'm talking about that $7 area. It's had all sorts of trouble staying above 7. I think this is the longest we've stayed above 7 since I started watching it on the day. So this one, on one right now, pleases dang punch. Let's see exactly what happens there. What? Are you kidding me?
What?
Neil? Is that real?
Huh?
Really? Oh, I thought he was going to be on the show. Oh, okay. Yeah, good thing I didn't say that out loud. I appreciate you sending me that, Neil.
He's on the show tomorrow.
What am I missing?
It's real.
Is Katina going to be here?
He's coming
He
in.
better be here, bro.
Who
Should
are
I
you?
say it? Should I say it? Should I say it?
What are we doing?
Brett freaking Favre is going to be on the show tomorrow, man. Adara's like, who? Sorry, Adara. He's a
football?
quarterback, yeah.
Okay.
Green Bay Packers.
Okay, he's Sean's boy then. 'cause Sean
Obi,
likes
I
the
get.
Packers.
Go Sports. Well, I don't blame you too much. He's a quarterback, bro. You know that? You know that position? Brett freaking Favre is gonna be on the show tomorrow. Oh, I gotta tell my buddy. Because he's an avid Green Bay fan. He's so annoying. I'm messaging him right now. Drew, Drew, Brett Favre is going to be on my show tomorrow.
Good times. But yeah, that's
You can't
wild.
come. You can't come.
Some people are saying sell the news on that. That's pretty funny.
Oh, man. Carlton 75068. Have you interviewed anybody like Brett Favre? Get out of here, bro. Anyway, so that's good news for us. Very excited, obviously, for that. Neil just texted me that in the chat. I thought he was just going to talk about Firefly. I thought he was invested in the company. He was going to go on CNBC, talk about it. Maybe that was it. No, he's coming on the show with
That's
me.
amazing.
Very pumped about
That is honestly, yeah, I'm really excited for that. I do not know Brett Favre, but I will have to look him up. I'll do a deep dive into Brett Favre. I'm also happy that he is not the football player dating Taylor Swift. So with that in mind, sorry, Travis Kelce, I can fully support you, Brett Favre. Also, you know what I support? Lily doing a breakout. A little chip chopped on my pal Lily earlier, and most of this chip chop had to do with the fact that the slippage on this was not good. I got long because we were kind of curling here. I liked how we were holding here with that. We were holding at the 90 MA at the time, and then what happened was I get in, it drops. That's how it goes with slippage sometimes. What I probably should have done was wait for the breakout of this 877, but I got involved about 25 points earlier based on levels I liked in the 15. That's not the point. The point is LLY is currently hanging out here. This 873.18s is holding on the bid. But the ask is creeping to the downside, which is a bearish look for me. So if the bid can kind of stabilize itself, if we push higher, I want to see us break above the 874s. I will risk a current bar low in the 15, which is 873.08. That is actually for LLY. For Eli Lilly, that is very reasonable RR. We're going to wait and see what happens here. I'm going to keep this order book up while we take a look at MSTR because I didn't get to tell you guys here. I actually got stopped out of this, but my issue here is not the stop out. It is the violence that happened in the book immediately after I got stopped out. So like I said, I was like, oh, I have to move my stop. I moved my stop to the power bar 5, then immediately got wicked out. So I was short 332s, got stopped out here the last piece, 331.67. The stop was at 42, so a bit of slippage, but with MSTR, you have to expect that. That is not the issue, though. The issue is I get stopped out. I'm going to see if I can find the 1 minute because this was crazy. I looked it up and there was no news on this. Look at this 1 minute candle. This was real movement, too. So we go up as high as 332.10s, then we wick as low as 330s, and then we push immediately higher. This is wild. I have no context for why we did this. I couldn't find any news on it, but MSTR looking like it was possessed and having this whole like, I don't know, I have to watch The Sixth Sense tonight apparently because MSTR, I don't know if it saw dead people, but I saw something on the chart. I also saw a reason to get involved in Eli Lilly, so I'm going to punch in to this LLY. Sorry to make you laugh there, Sharif.
That was good, Sarah.
How are you doing?
This is the guy right here, by the way. We can show it super quick. That's the guy.
Nice.
So he ended his career with the Jets, but he played most of his life with the Packers. He went away for a little bit to the Vikings, where I think they went to the NFC Championship. Yeah, the purple guys, exactly. But most of his life was with the green team, who Katina, I'm sure you know.
Those are his boys. They're his boys.
Exactly. So Katina's going to be losing it tomorrow, man. Yeah. Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
All right, guys, JTAI is absolutely on one right now. We are at highs, 777s, and I'm not talking about the airplane, baby, at the high of the day right now. I'm not punching in here, but we are really starting to move aggressively. We're up 90% now, about to take maybe 100 awfully soon. $8 in focus, 778 high a day. I'm gonna stop talking about the high a day because it keeps changing. 85s now. We'll see if this one can take out 8. Good movement here as we squeeze past that level. We talked about the shorts on JTAI. About 11.8% on a float of 1.87 million shares. So small float and a bit of a larger short float as well. So you've got both those factors working to your advantage here to kind of move this to the high side. We're almost at 100%. We are at the day's high right now. So I'm going to keep my eye out on this one. No question about it. People are yelling about SMCI. Wow, Smicky. It took out, it's at the day high, 64.50. SMCI is going. I was talking to some of the boys in the back. It's a pay for shorts type situation here on SMCI. Yes.
Wow.
Obi says it's always been that way, though.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, which is interesting. It shows you even on the floor here and with the company with, what's it called? What am I trying to say here with real trading? it's highly in demand. So the shorts are definitely getting squeezed right now on SMCI. Let's show the chart. Here it is. It's been, wow, we don't have a red candle, Adira, on the 5 since 12 o'clock. So the better part now of 55 minutes straight Greensville, no pullback into the 10 as well. This was a beautiful flat top break at 60.5. Definitely didn't have eyes on that. I did have SMCI on the side chart, but I really wasn't, interested in trading it all that much. Just kept it on there as, something to keep there if nothing, if there were no small cap gappers to my liking. So SMCI definitely on the high side right now and breaking possibly into local high. So keep an eye out for that. I'm still keeping my eye here on JTAI, trying to work into this one, but not going to do it quite yet. I want to let you know that there was a new small cap gapper that did work on its way into the scene. Here it goes by the name Edit, E-D-I-T.
Editas.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Editas Medicine, yes, good call. So we're going to take off RXRX and we're going to put in Edit. So this one's trading at the highs right now, guys, or close to the highs. We just printed 244. The high of the day right now, there we go. The high of the day, is 244. We're printing 238. This one seems to be respectful. I would perceive this to be of the 20 exponential moving average. I'll show you guys on the side chart over here because I don't have my moving averages on e-signal quite yet. But this one did pull back after breaking that 2 1/3, did pull back into that 220, held the 20 exponential moving average, then made its way up into 244. So this one could be one of those ones that's destined for a 250 break. It's up 36%, 36.5%, and I'll give you the details on this one. So we'll find out the float and the short float. So larger-ish float, about 76.5 million shares, but an even nicer short float. 22.5% of the float for Edit is being borrowed for short. So again, whatever technique you guys use to figure out where shorts may or may not be, employ it. I would say look at the wider time frame, look at local area highs and consolidation areas where there were where there was a lot of volume. So look for those big volume bars. So Edit right now coming back down. I could be a buyer of Edit at around 2 1/4 to defend that 20 exponential moving average. Good look here, Adira, as JTAI dances with 8. What do you got on that side?
I'm in Lily again here, and she's doing something. The spread is widening in a way I don't love because that suggests some more slippage. But I risk less than $1 on this, so even if I get slipped, it's not going to be world-ending. I will say with LLY, why I liked it as a long is we broke above this previous level of resistance at that 874 area. I got long 874, which is the bottom of the 15-minute candle, which was 873.08. We broke below it on the bid, to be clear, just now. We got to like 872 halves, but because of the spread, we're good. Now, the one thing that deeply concerns me, but not enough to get me out because I haven't gotten stopped out, is the fact that we're doing a bit of a creep on the ask here on 874. So when I say ask creep or bid creep, what do I mean? I like trading spready tickers, and with them, I like to whisper to it a little bit. I like to see what they're saying to me. And how do spready tickers talk to you? Well, like Sharif's tickers, his small caps are going to be like, they're yelling, they're very loud. But spready tickers are very quiet.
This is great, Adira.
They'll creep. So what do I say creep? Well, we were at 874 on the bid, and then 874.86 on the ask. And we just sat there. We just chilled there. And then we got to 874.82 on the ask, and then 80, and then 15, and then we started dropping, right? So when I see a slow, gradual move here to the downside, then I get a little bit worried we're going to drop. If I see a slow, gradual move to the upside, it can be a pop. Now, I want to clarify, a lot of this is also dependent on where we are in the chart. Like if we're at low of day and we start doing an ask creep, that is 100% a short to me. When we do it here, when we're in an uptrend, it's obviously a little bit concerning, but it's not going to get me out of the ticker. It just means I should be prepared for a little bit of shake and bake. We did get shaken, we got baked, but I'm still here because I didn't get stopped out. So please just punch for that. Thank you, Lily, for your $1.50 spread that saved me from getting wicked out of this. So we're like, 25 cents out of the money. I'm happy with this trade, risking less than $1, which is very rare to find natural areas to do that on Eli Lilly. Right now, to me, the area of resistance I'm seeing is that 874, basically 875. So if we get above 875s, I'm actually willing to add a couple shares, nothing cray-cray. So we're going to wait and see what happens. But yeah, I mean, I always love talking about spread. If anyone ever has any questions on how I read spread or what I do with spread, you can always ask me. I would love to do like a whole lesson there. Ostentatious Productions. Can you imagine Adira on audiobook reading Edgar Allan Poe? I mean, I would have fun doing that. I would enjoy myself. There, the Piper, sorry dear, but you're nuts, with a little face. Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with that. I'm happy to be here, right? It's so great to be back on this side of the desk. So thank you, Sharif, for having me here. Thank you all for being nice and having me up. Before I send it back to you, Sharif,
yes, ma'am.
NVIDIA, I was saying, oh, NVIDIA's not that directional. I don't know what it's going to do. And NVIDIA just was like, yeah, Adira, you think? Broke 140s, broke 141s. We're almost at 141 halves. So I apologize to the NVIDIA heads that I undoubtedly offended. I was just waiting for it to break out. It clearly chose a direction. That direction was to the upside. So shout out to anyone who was long NVIDIA, including the person that put in the chat, come on, NVIDIA, push. Clearly, NVIDIA did push to the upside. I am pleased as punch for you. Congrats on that. Lily's probably going to stop me out here with this $1.50 spread, but I'm just going to chill because you know what? You can't be emotional in trading.
Absolutely.
I have my levels. I'm not going to get shut down on this, so we're going to wait and see what happens.
Very nice.
How you doing?
Good. We're in edit. Taking some prints here to the high side. I'm setting up now at 42s. It's showing me 40s as we try to work back into high days. Double top though, guys, on the 5-minute. Topping tail candles, double top at 244. I'm not exactly sure what that means. I wasn't watching it at that level, nor can I see the full size posted at 44 until we get a little bit closer. We're currently showing 39s. But all the hype, and rightfully so, is on this bad boy here. JT Dang AI, 837 high day. It's pulled back into 8. This thing's up almost triple digits. It's up 97%. The volume is really increasing here. We're closing in on 100 million shares. We're about 81 and a half, a little bit less than that. So keep your eye on this one. I don't think this one's done, man. It's still hanging out near the highs, but it's getting extended away from that 10 exponential moving average on the 5 that I use as an informal gauge of overbought and oversold conditions on these small cap gappers. I like to see them pull in a little bit closer to the 10, whether that means they consolidate for a little bit of time before moving up or they pull back. Whatever the case is, it's getting a little bit too far. And so what I mean by that is, I'll show you exactly what I mean. There's JTA, bottom left corner, and you can kind of see that green line, that highlighted green line there. That's the 10 exponential moving average. And when we get away from it on the 5-minute chart for these small cap gappers, I get a little concerned that, you know, we get a pullback. It's not a hard and fast rule that I live by, but it's one that I've perceived over the years that usually is true. So I'm keeping my eye out on this one. It's still doing the dance with 8. It's not really giving up 8 nor clearing 8 by all that much. If I had to choose, I think it's still heading to the high side, simply based upon the higher lows. So each successive 5-minute candle has a bit of a higher low here, so we haven't even got into the consolidation area of things quite yet. The current low on this 5-minute candle is 87s, where the previous one is 58. So you get it. Every successive low a little bit higher. That means buyers are buying it up at higher and higher levels every time. That translates to me anyway as buyer exuberance. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. I'm absolutely okay with trading it. It's got to set up my way though. I don't want to punch in at highs, even though it keeps going higher and higher and making me feel all sorts of FOMO. Now I'm waiting on edit here. Sorry about that, guys.
Sorry, I started from that.
I got really criticized for singing the other day.
Really?
And Joe didn't back me up. So 42, I'm playing. 342 is what I'm waiting for right now, guys. We're showing 41s. Let's see if we can increase a little bit more. I'll be waiting at that 42s. All right, guys, we got the new tickers up, and you can tell Adira is back at the table because I see LLY. I'm just clicking LLY for you know what and giggles. So Lily up there on the poll, getting your vote now. Afternoon rundown with your boy Obi. He is the one. Kenobi Enya.
Yeah, shout out to that. And I have to say, I debated putting Lily on there, but she's up 2% and she did have a catalyst. Oddly enough, not a positive one. The catalyst on Lily was basically, they apparently filed with the SEC saying that if the Trump trade things that he wants to do go through, they actually might be in trouble. So that is not a great look for Lily. I do think it was a technical breakout though, and I'll show you why once again here. That basically we broke above this AVWAP from earnings beautifully there to the upside. I have to say that was a textbook spread breakout. I watched it happen. Like I said, I didn't take it because I knew I had to move over to this desk, and that's not an excuse. It is what it is. I learned a lot from just watching it. So I will stand by that, and that, you know, it is what it is. And what actually is great about that, you only have to risk $2 if you're risking to prior bar 15-minute low, and it gave you 13 points. That is a crazy trade. You get that. That's a once in a blue moon trade. So I'm going to journal. I'm going to aggressively journal about that Lily trade, even though I didn't have it. I got stopped out of the Lily trade I was just in for only 30 cents of spread or slippage. Because I was telling Sharif recently, Lily likes to give you some crazy slippage recently. I was in a Lily trade recently, $2 slippage. I'm like, girl, what are you doing? With like size where you don't want that slippage. I was like, okay. But anyways, not the point. LLY here. I liked this long breakout. It gave it to you for a second, then it didn't. It is what it is, you know. You can't get emotional about this. As Sharif's pal in the three-piece suit, Alfred, does say, you got to be dead inside for trading. MSTR, speaking of dead inside, I joked here that this one was communicating with some extraterrestrial beings or something, because I'm going to switch back to the 1 minute. Someone asked me in the chat, are you still short MSTR? I'm not, for one reason only, and it is this insane 1 minute candle. You can see a volume spike. I went on X because I knew people would be freaking out about this. I was correct. They were. Everyone is like, what is it doing? No one knows what it was doing. But I'm telling you guys, we were around 331. We wake up to 332s. I got stopped out on the way up there. We get as high as 332, I think 20s on the ask. Then we get to 330s. We get to a new low of day in the same 1 minute candle. And then we go back to trading our regularly scheduled programming. I've not ever seen anything like that on a ticker like MSTR, and that includes when we have Bitcoin-related catalysts. So that's massive. That being said, if we break this 330, I'm actually cool shorting this again. The only thing that stopped me from getting back in is I don't have a good stop. I don't have a good stop level right now. So we're going to have to wait and see. I think shorting 330 makes sense. Maybe you short to the top, the current bar on the 5 minute or the 3 minute or 5, but I don't like doing that because at that point, it just feels like it's kind of arbitrary, especially with something that's as violent as MSTR. So I apologize for not being in any new trades here, guys. Just waiting to see anything set up. Lily, so my rules are I don't like going, and I kind of borrowed this from Obi, I don't like taking the same trade in one direction more than 3 times in one day. So I've taken 2 longs on Lily. By my rules, I can try a third. So if we break that 875 and things set up accordingly, I might try a third time on Lily, but I don't want to try just because my rules allow me to. I want to try because it makes sense to do so. I'm going to keep an eye on that. I also want to look at Celsius because I put it on our list of rundown vote tickers, and I actually forgot to look at it. Oh, okay, Celsius, get another pushback. Sharif, this is beautiful.
Okay.
I miss when this was like Sparty and $100 and I could trade it. Like, come on now. This is beautiful push to the upside. We make these kind of double, well, right now maybe a bit of a double top, but this gorgeous little swoop here, break below VWAP, ride that 90 MA, and then we'll have to see if we bounce off the 90 MA. If we break below the 90 MA with that double top, could be a bit of a short, but the way Celsius has been moving, I'm tempted to think we continue to ride that pony to the upside, chug that Celsius. I have to say, as an energy drink person, probably shocking no one, I've got a lot of Celsius in my fridge right now. So I like the new little baby cans they're doing because a lot of the energy drink brands are not doing little baby cans. So Celsius has small cans if you don't want like all the energy, if you just want like a little like of energy. So go Celsius. I'm going to send it back to Trace.
Do you get good deals on them?
Or
do you get them wholesale?
Oh,
retail.
I go to 7-Eleven and I get whatever the best deals are there.
You get them on sale.
I love Sav. I get everything on sale.
Nice.
I love sales, but 7-Eleven weirdly always has a sale on pretty much every brand of energy drink. Usually Rockstars and Monsters, they're like, you get 3 for $7.50, so that's not bad. Rain and Bang, it's usually, you guys can tell I do this a lot. It's usually like 2 for $5.50. But yeah, I'm a 7-Eleven rewards member,
I like it.
so I'm incentivized to buy. But yeah, so there are rewards. Celsius, though, I find a little bit harder to find. How are you doing?
All right, we're trying our hand at JTAI again. Let's see if we can take out some profitability here as it squeezes back up into the high side, showing 20s. It did defend 8, but it was like, kind of an anemic defend. Right now, it's got a bit of a hammer candle going on, but it doesn't have nearly as much buying pressure here this time around. So we're going to give this one a little bit of room, but I don't want to give too much room and give back too much over here. So JTAI, bit of a hammer candle, breaches 8, and like there's somebody selling at 11s over here. You can kind of see that. So being a little bit careful, but you're not seeing that kind of movement to the high side again. So yeah, definitely either we're going to, kind of consolidate here as I was talking about with this extension away from the 10 exponential, or we're going to break down. It looks like we are going to break down over here. I like it all the way into 780, especially if it bounces off aggressively, like wicks down into 780, because this was a consolidation area. We'll see exactly what it does. We're out of the money right now. I was able to squeak out some profits. I don't know if adding into 8 here is the right move. I could add into 8, but this one does look like it does want to give up 8 for the moment. I don't know. I'm going to put maybe a little bit lower. That's exactly what I'll do. I'll throw it out over here. That way I'm able to get a bit of a better price if it does come down. So let's see exactly what it does. Dancing with 8 right now. I'm still involved in edit, but I don't think I'll be involved for too much longer because we're 5 pennies out of the money there, and it's coming in to the 20 exponential moving average. So packing my patience on this one over here, but definitely keeping an eye on both these bad boys. All right, let's take out some profitability if we can in the high 90s over here, as this one is zigging and zagging. It does look like this one wants to sell off a little bit, so I might flatten out here if we get lower prints. I'm going to also stack the, I'll throw out some orders in case we pop up and get a bit of a liquidity grab to the high side over here, but I am concerned about this one giving up the ghost. It does look like it wants to break down below that 780. Just wick below 780, now back into the mid 90s. There we go. Right back into the high side and taking out my orders. Goes JT dang AI. I'll take out a little bit more there. Still waiting. Boom to the high side again. Let's put some more at 10s. Let's see if this one wants to reclaim that level. It's got a hammer candle right now on the 5. There goes 10s. There is 10, baby. Now we're waiting at 25s. Let's see if this one wants to zig and zag with that 25s. We've got 84s right now. You bet your bottom dollar that I'm not going to allow anything below 80s. JTAI is the gift that keeps on giving on the day. We're waiting at the $quarter. How many outs do I have left on this monster? JTAI, we got a few more outs, so I can wet my beak a little bit over here, take a bit more off the table. I don't want to take my eyes off this because we know how this bad boy can trade. I can find myself completely out of the money in a matter of a second or even less. But I definitely want to keep my eye on EDIT because we got a position there as well. And this is a 20 exponential hold. So that's what I'm doing here. We're adding into this one. Let's see what we get, and we will not get upset. Adara, what do you got on that side over there?
Don't get upset, Sharif.
I won't.
But yeah, right now I'm actually looking at Tesla.
Okay.
So I used to, if you remember, like the, summer 2024, to do a little bit of a throwback, on the midday, I used to trade Tesla violently. I was looking back on my old charts on Tesla recently, and I was like, what am I doing? So I actually found one of them in my Google Drive to show you all. I'm going to find the right, there we go. I thought I moved this somewhere. Yeah. So I thought I opened this new tab. Maybe I didn't. Anyways, here's this Tesla, and this is like hilarious. Like, I'm telling you, this is all in 3 hours. Why was I taking so many entries? So this is a throwback to how I used to trade Tesla, where the goal is to not do that today. Like this is easily 100 fills on TSLA in a 3-hour period. So don't do that. This is just a throwback because you want to reflect on growth. This is just one Friday. So let's not do that. But TSLA, why do I like it? And it's kind of increasingly changing my mind. If we hold this the 363.25 area, if we break above that top, I like this as a long. And I think the 15-minute, oh no, my chart died. The 15-minute confirms that for me. Why does that confirm that for me? Because the 15-minute, that is also the top, and it's been the top for a while. So with that in mind, the thing that's also stopping me is the fact that I'm just gonna see if I can find my charts here.
You want me to take over?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to find my area to set up a new chart. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I'm still watching JTAI. Got a couple of more outs on this bad boy. Still zigging and zagging with 8 guys. The best print I've had on this pop-up here is at 820. I'm waiting at that 8 1/4. I've moved up my stop specifically from that 760 break, and now it's going to be break even. So anything below 777s, and that's where my stop is. Got a couple of more outs on this bad boy, and it has to hold this level. I am very very cognizant of the mean reversion being a distinctly different possibility. Yeah, you see all the OB words right there. Possibility on JTAI given the strength of this monster on the day. So I've moved up my stop because I don't want to give anything really back over here on this monster, keeping an eye on that. Now, I added into EDIT, and I'm more pleased I could not be because I think that this is the right move. It did bounce off the 20 again. I'm going to wet my beak there. I've got a bigger position on this one, so we'll let that one cook. JTAI still cooking with that $8 area. Can't clear it. Can't break down below it. I'm assuming this is going to be a flat bottom break because we've got umpteen amount of lower highs with that 780 area being support. And I mentioned this, man. I said 780, that this was a consolidation area on JTAI, and that's why I added at that level. And then we gave it to, the midpoint there. I initially gave it to the break of 60, and then I moved up my stop into break even. So that's the situation. What are we doing over here on edit? Still chopping and churning at 76. Somebody's selling up a storm at 36s, excuse me, and that's where I'm waiting. I'm waiting at that 36s. All the orders get taken off except mine. That's kind of annoying. So we'll see exactly what this one does. But EDIT, for whatever reason, don't know why, and I frankly don't give a you-know-what. It was respecting the 20 exponential moving average on the 5. That is that yellow line right there. It keeps bouncing off it, likely because a trader or an algo is basing its trade off that line. Nick Dub, Sharif, do you mind giving me your thoughts on Rivian here in the earnings? I'm very bullish on the company, but I'm worried about a 10 retrace. Look, I like the company, man. I don't know if I necessarily like the stock, but you bet your bottom dollar I like Rivians. They are great cars. I'm just keeping my eye here on JTAI because it's coming into my profit taker. I'm waiting at the $0.25. It's rejecting 20s right now. JTAI, lots of buying. Come on. Boom. There it is to the top side. JT dang AI keeps giving you more money, baby. This one's headed possibly back in 67s. 867s is what I'm trying to say here ineloquently. Keep your eye on this one. A beautiful hold of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. Right on that 110 candle. Goes right into 775 and then rockets back up. Pleased as dang punch, as the girl next to me always likes to say. So let's set up some more beak wetters over here and then have a look at Rivian for your boy, the OG Nick Dub. All right. All right, so that's a 5 minute. Let's start with the 4 hour. Let's start with the daily. See where we're at relative to these moving averages. Okay, so right off the bat, I can tell you I ain't looking at the 50 or the 200 because this is a consolidation zone. And as we know from previous lessons, consolidation areas and moving averages are like water and oil. They don't mix, okay? If you use these moving averages, whether crossovers or divergences during periods of prolonged consolidation, and I'll submit to you, that's what we're seeing on Rivian here, you will get burned. It's gonna suck because you're gonna get wicked in and wicked out, not wicked in, you're gonna get triggered in and triggered out on these crossovers that are not relevant. So I don't wanna use the blue and the red lines, the blue being the 200, the red being the 50. What I see here, Nick, and I think I've said this before to somebody else who asked me about the exact same thing, the umpteen amount. Why am I long JTAI still? Oh my God, I still have a piece, Adara. Okay, I got.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's
do you need
good.
to take over? Or?
No. We're gonna wet our beak here. That's exactly what we're gonna do. Hopefully.
Nice.
All right, we'll just take it out there. That kind of sucks.
It's been so long since I've heard that.
Get it, Adara. All right, so take out some there at the high of the day on JTAI. I didn't realize I was holding more. I do apologize for that. Should have been managing that trade a little bit better. So I worry, Nick, because of the lower high situation. Now locally, you do have some higher lows, like take into consideration this area over here back April of 24, we kind of bottomed out there. And then when we bottomed out over here between October and late November, that was a higher low. So from a technical sense, it's not doing it for me. Now, that's a technical, that's a chart. Do I like the company? Do I think the company has an opportunity? Yes, but they got to get that R2 out, okay? You've got to have a car that's not $100,000 as a base in order to get, obviously, a wider or larger total addressable market, that TAM. That's what we concern ourselves with, because if you don't have a big TAM, well, then your pool of buyers are much more limited. Now, what's the likelihood that we see that R2 come out soon and come out in numbers that can move the needle? That's the question, and I don't have the answer to that. So from a technical sense, I don't like it, but if you like the car and you feel, or you like the car company and you feel that, that R2 could move the needle, and then probably in 27, that R3 could move the needle even more, wet your beak at every incremental level. You have multiple levels. Right now we're trading at what are we at? 14 and change. I'd put something around 13, 12 and a half because there seems to be an area low there. I'd also be putting something at 10s, but work your way into the name. I think it's giving you opportunities because you're getting lower highs. So it's not like this thing is rocketing up and you're having to chase it. So that's my, my 2 cents there. Maybe we can have Randy on. He can give us an idea of what the R2 looks like, or what the R2 is like, I should say. Everybody knows what it looks like. He was just at the car show, but they wouldn't even, they roped it off. Can you believe
I know he said that he wasn't able to access.
Cybertruck thing. I don't get it. People are and the gravity, the lucid gravity as well. The gravity is being delivered to people in California. Why are they roping it off?
Right? It's not like we don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. They do that to kind of get everybody's attention. Oh my God, we can't see the car behind the rope. Exactly. Right? It's so annoying. I hate that kind of thing, but hey, it's got us talking about it, right? So maybe they're doing something. Sorry, Nick Dub. From a technical sense, don't like Rivian. The chart is ugly. It's lower highs, and you're not necessarily getting higher lows. It's in a consolidative area as well, so you can't really use these moving averages. I'd say either look at a momentum oscillator like the RSI, like the MACD, the stochastic oscillator. They perform better during consolidative markets, or just work your way in incrementally if you like the company from a fundamental sense. I really hope that helps because, well, it's a tough one to judge right there. Adair, what do you got?
I want to talk about this MSTR trade because I'm sure people saw me going MSTR long on the blotter and they were probably like, does Adara have eyeballs? Is Adara doing okay?
Yeah, she's got eyeballs.
She does have eyeballs, and she stands by this trade. So let's talk about why I went MSTR at low days, why I went long. So I have talked a lot about, I've been watching this one lately. I have a lot of levels I like on this one. And as we saw that quadrunk, and keep in mind, I was short in this before I got wicked out on what I'm going to call, I don't have a name for it yet, but that crazy wick that I was comparing to the 610s because it seemed like someone possessed it. Anyways, before that wick, I was short. I got wicked out. I didn't want to force myself into a short. I didn't have a rational area to risk, whatever. But I wasn't looking to revenge trade it either. And I didn't need to trade it either way. But then it does this. So why was I looking for this level? Time to pull out my handy, heavily marked up trading view chart again. Shout out to Obi. I love that Obi is representing here for the people with marked up charts. So this is obviously a rounded bottom, or rounded top, sorry. Looks pretty bearish. But Sharif, look at this bounce.
What happened?
This bounce yesterday, and I know because I was short when this happened. Look at that bounce. So I was watching for a level. This low of day yesterday, 326.80. Guess where our low of day today is, Sharif? 326.80.
Dang.
So I waited for a green 3-minute candle, and I went the heck long. And I went long 327.30s, and right now I'm risking 326.79. Now, will I get slipped with spread if that breaks below? Yeah, it's not going to be pretty. If I'm wrong on this, I'm wrong, and I'm okay with that because I like the trade. I am taking out 30% at 328.30, so it's a 2-to-1 basically because I'm risking 50 cents. Why am I doing that? I talked about that 328.30 level, and you can even see it on the chart today. We get chippy choppy around that level, so I want to make sure that I'm taking a little bit off. As of right now, my stop is going to be, like I said, the 326.80 because I think that's real risk. I think that's fair risk, and I think I would be selling myself short, no pun intended, if I move it. So right now I'm keeping it there. Yeah, this has not been, as I said, this has not been my best trading day. I've been on a nice little streak lately, and today is a little bit but you know what? I'm still happy I took this trade because I like the trade, and Neil talks about this a lot too. It's not about your day as a whole. It's about each trade. How did you do when compared to that trade? Did you take the setup that made sense? Did you like it? So I have no problem taking this very counter trend MSTR long because I have confluence. Shout out to Obi. Thank you. Thank you. Very deadpan Obi with the get it, Adara. So yeah, that's my conviction. I'm gonna stick with there for that MSTR. We're gonna take a look at RGTI as well because some people were talking about Rigetti. Shout out to Mom's Rigetti there. My sister and I were actually rewatching the rap battle scenes from this movie recently, and it still slaps. So with that, I am referencing 8 Mile with the Mom's Rigetti. So Rigetti here, this is a really interesting area. This $10.90 level, we reject that. I mean, to be fair, we were downtrending, but then we kind of look like we might bounce. and then we can't. So I want to see if we break above this 1090. I'm going to switch the book here. Oh, that is, I almost switched the tape too. I'm going to switch the book because I actually want to see how Rigetti is behaving at this $10.90 level. This is not my type of trade. This is more of a Katina Man or a Sharif type trade. I'm not a huge small cap person, but this $10.90 level, I want to see what we do here, because if we reject, then I think you could arguably, try the short. You only have to risk 5 cents with this. Oh my, do I want to short this? Because you only have to risk 5 cents here. That wick, I would say, is risk. That VWAP, I would say, is an area you could risk too. So you're risking 5 cents, and realistically, you could be able to take some profit here at that $10.75 level. So that is not a bad RR trade, but it is our GTI. It is very volatile. It is Mom's Rigetti, and you don't want any reason for you have to have your knees weak or your arms heavy. So that is on watch. Yeah, Darth Buddha, I like to have my order book colored so I can see it a little bit more clearly. I like the sunset kind of palette. I enjoy that. So I find that pretty cool. I'm laughing at this comment from Aim for Greatness. Yeah, I could probably beat you in a rap battle. I don't know. I mean, I like rapping. I am a fan of rap music. If anyone ever has any rap music related questions or opinions, I'm always down to interact with that because I enjoy that. JTII getting mentioned in the chat. I am not sure, in that respect. This double bottom at VWAP at 580 is chef's kiss. This is gorgeous. Also, I am pleased as punch to announce.
What happened?
We took some profit on MSTR. So we are out 30% of the position. This was a planned beak wetter because I am very cautious of that. Not cautious is the wrong word. I'm cognizant of the 328.30 level. I want to see if we break above the 90 MA, but I'm not going to sweat it. I wasn't going to move my stop, but now that we're actually kind of pushing to the upside, I think it's a little bit foolish to keep my stop at 326.80s. So I'm going to be at this point moving it to prior bars on take out half of the prior bar break in the 3, take out everything at the prior bar break in the 5. So I am pleased as punch with this trade. Sometimes you have to take the counter trend idea if it sets up, because if it sets up and it looks good to you, it's not counter trend. It's the idea that you want. It's the trade that you have in mind. It's your levels. You charted it. So I've got to shout out MSTR. Thank you, Michael Saylor, for causing me a lot of confusion and grief and this weird possession candle. We're moving in a good path. How you doing?
You know that individual that we talk about sometimes? Ram?
Yeah.
She's not here today,
I could have been anyone the way you started that.
She's not here today.
Has she been Duolingoing?
Well, no, but that's a separate story. Yeah. Well, are you really surprised with that, Adara? No, seriously though. Her food back there, she's got eggs. So if you want to take her food, because I know that jerk chicken probably won't be down here.
Oh, thank you for letting me know. I didn't realize she had eggs.
I don't know why.
That individual that we talk about sometimes.
Guys, JTEI is doing the same thing with 9 as it did with 8. Let's see if it can bounce back, just drop below 9 again. There is some support at 8 2/3. I want to say 8.5, 8 2/3. This is the consolidation area that we kind of danced with for a little bit. Now, again, it's kind of doing the same thing where it gets extended away from the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 and then rockets back up. So let's see if this one wants to come down possibly into 8.5. 8.5 would bring it a little bit closer into that 10 exponential. And then the possibility, obviously, is that just doesn't give a you know what about 8.5 or the 10 exponential, and then moves along its merry way to take out the high of the day, which is currently 944. I'm going to take my shot. I've had a whole bunch of trades on this one today. I'm going to wait at 855s. Okay. No, that would be a little bit higher than the 10 exponential, but that's okay. I can give it a little bit more room there. I'll wait at 851, okay? That's what I'm gonna do with this one. And the point is to catch this one, maybe if it does come back into this consolidation area to kind of just wick it, get a liquidity grab, then rock it back up. That's gonna be my move. Anything though, I'm gonna have a super tight stop on this. So anything below 820, so we'll risk about 30 pennies on this monster to possibly make $1 and change. Because if it takes out that high, again, if it does the same thing that it did with 8, with 9, then I think we'll easily get that $1. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Day Trader Cut. Bring Adara back for more midday shows. Killing it. People, you're getting love in the chat.
Thank you very much for the support. Happy to be here, guys.
Nimit. You are joking. Wins 8 times out of 10 trades. I don't know who that. Sharif never gives the right stock, says Mav Fatim. Maybe we don't trade the same names, brother. Like I don't think I've ever seen, well, you don't trade these small caps, do you? You trade these small caps?
There's no such thing as a right or wrong.
Do you trade small caps? Yeah, I mean, he's busy looking at Amazon. Right, so that's the look there. I think everybody just trades a different book, right? Adara likes her spready tickers.
Yeah.
You know, the Katina man's always on the Mag 7, brother. So I don't think it's really about the wrong trades or the wrong names. I trade them in a different way that you may not have the capacity to trade unless you practice. So give it an opportunity and don't make such declaratory statements without any real, you know, understanding of what's going on. So we're keeping an eye out on this, keeping an eye out on JTAI again, Adara, as it gets into that high of the day, close to that high of the day, but I'm sitting here like a schmuck, waiting at around 8.5, thinking that this bad boy is going to pull back into that 10 or into that 10 exponential $0.5 area where it kind of consolidated for a little bit. It's not giving that to me quite yet. So I'm going to pack my patience, see what we get there. What else we got over here? There's a bunch of other ones. I'm still involved, believe it or not, in this piece of crap. EDIT at 32s. We're break even on this one, Adara, but this one is, I think, going to break down below that 20 exponential moving average. I can get out here for break even. This one is putting a lot of lower highs, despite the fact that I tried to wet my beak there at 40s. It didn't cross, so I didn't get the print, sadly. So that's the situation. Let's see if we can weasel out of this one without too much damage. What do we got there? TS Booger, flex for me. No. JF Trader, don't listen to the haters. Yeah, brother. You know, we have a little fun with them. Neil, declaratory, all over school words. I don't know if that was that good of one, Neil, but Ali, SPY bearish divergence on RSI on the 15th. Okay, good call out there. Oh, crap. You know what we forgot to do?
Oh, yeah.
No, we got to do it. We got to do it. So let's just do it right now, Adara. I'm going to do it. If you can log in the thing, and then we can send it into your friend there.
Where do
Joe,
we log this?
just put it anywhere you
I'll just
want,
put it
and
in
I'll
a
just send him the
random
data, and then
document.
he'll throw it in. So the SPY, guys, 611.81, Adara.
611.81.
So we're going to take profits at 613.81. And then we're going to get stopped out at 610.81, which will be a little bit above VWAP, which I kind of don't like. We're holding VWAP, and we're at the day's high. So hopefully this does okay. We'll see. We'll keep an eye out definitely on the SPY. So shout out to you. Thank you for asking me about that. But I don't really trade the SPY, to be honest with you, Ali. So not much I can help you with there. Nimit, new one is BSLK. Check if you can. Absolutely. Let's have a look at BSLK. I still have that order out, I believe. Yes, on JTAI at that top end of the consolidation. So we'll see what this one does. BSLK. Ooh, that's a good look. But you know, Nimit, I don't have eyes on this one. Well, I just got eyes on it because it broke 85 pennies. So I filter out my small cap gappers south of 85 pennies. So if you're trading south of that, I won't have notice. The reason I did that 85 penny thing is to kind of get notice of the ones that are moving close to that dollar. So this one, high day, 88.50. Shout out to you, Nimit. This looks actually quite good. It's without a catalyst, though. Not that I can see anyway. Today's the 19th. Nothing coming in on the 19th on this bad boy, but there was a whole bunch of entries yesterday. Here's what the entry was for anybody who's interested. Bolt Partners, which is the name of the company, Bolt Projects Holdings, with Goddess Maintenance Company, partners with Goddess Maintenance Company for groundbreaking beauty launch. So if anybody cares about what the headline is, that came in yesterday at around 4:05. So it looks like it was after the bell there. So keep an eye out on that. I'll keep it on the side chart, Nimit, because it's a good look right now, especially if it breaks through that dollar. This could be really, really good. I'm going to replace IBRX because that's been trading below VWAP for a hot minute. BSLK. We'll throw in BSLK. There we go. Now we got on the side chart. Hopefully this one continues. So the high side, I shared only when it crossed 85. My man Nimit knows what's going on there. Shout out to him. Adara, what's going on with that MSTR trade?
I mean, so I actually am really proud here of this out. Like, this was beautiful. We just kiss it, we get in. Then we got stopped out the rest of it about, basically I got stopped out with slippage, actually, interestingly, basically where I set my initial stop. So I have no problem with that. Then we broke to the downside. I definitely should have been scalpier with this, taking everything out, but you're not gonna see me upset because I took the plan and I traded the plan. The one thing I should have done was move the 5-minute stop, but just the way we were quadruking, even if I had moved it, I suspect it would have been just too quick, just how fast we were dropping. So that's okay. Also, it's worth noting Bitcoin not moving the same way. So someone mentioned this in the chat earlier, I think it was Smoky Love, talk about how MSTR and Bitcoin are not moving the same way. That is true to an extent, but there are sometimes if you have a massive little push in Bitcoin or a drop in Bitcoin, MSTR will react. Right now, that's not the case. This is just a technical breakdown, in my opinion, from that 326.80 level, which again, I'll pull that up for you guys one more time on this chart because, oh my god, we have this hold here, like rounded top. We bounce off the 327, which is why I got long. Now we break below it. And as of this point, this is interesting. Now we're trying to bounce off of another level. This was the open on Friday, Sharif. MSTR loves its history. So, like, this thing is...
history buff.
Apparently so. Apparently so. Yeah, this thing keeps Michael sailing to the downside. But if you are scalpy, if you have levels you like on it, it is giving you very fleeting long opportunities. Now, I always say with spready stocks, express caution. We're lucky here that we're able to take smaller size if we want, though I am proud to say I took good size on all these MSTR trades.
Nice.
I'm roughly, I think, flat on the name just because this first trade, but you know what? I'm still pleased as punch that I took it. I like the levels. I got involved regardless. Sometimes that's what matters because you learn from every trade you take. Either you learn what to do better, you learn what worked, but either way it gives you something for the next day. Meta Babs got view up. Sharif, I love this. I talked earlier about that. I'm going to switch up. I have to find a way to sync these again. But that 703.20, I like. If we break 703.20, I'm actually cool to get long this and risk to view up. I would not take a ton of size because you have to give it decent. And with spread, it's not optimal. But we're going to keep an eye on that. I also just showed it Zion Lala. I mentioned
Get it, Zion.
Lily, my favorite stock on watch. But yeah, I mean, I tried it earlier, did not quite work out. We are, however, getting close to earnings AVU up around 868, so I have it on watch. Thank you for reminding us to look at that one, and thank you to ChatGPT for the $2 super chat.
Love that name.
FMSTR announced $2 billion to offering to buy more Bitcoin. Yeah, I remember they did that, I think, last night, I believe. But yeah, shout out there to MSTR, always trying to buy more Bitcoin. Now known as Strategy, though oddly, Sharif, they changed their name, but apparently they're not changing their ticker.
And I was going to complain to you because your trading view chart said MicroStrategy, so I was wondering how you can accept that.
I know, unacceptable. Trading view, what are you doing? Come on, it's been a whole 2 weeks. What is going on?
Get it together, Trading View. Adira, I got to talk about this one.
Please do.
We're back in at JTAI at the exact same thing at the 10 exponential on the 5. Literally is bottom wick. This thing is respecting the 10 exponential like a damn glove right now. Oh, dang, excuse me. So now I'm waiting at 82s. I've scalped out. We took a nice position here into the mid 60s. Here comes 75s. I'm waiting at 82s. We'll see if this one wants to give me some more over here. 79s flattening out. Pleased as dang punch with this trade. It's very consistent, at least so far. Basically, it really gets extended away. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about here, man. Just 1 second, Andre, because this is a very interesting repetition on this name. Every time it comes into the 10 exponential after getting extended, defends. Same thing over here, topping tail into 8 2/3, comes back into that 10, defends. 944, pulls back in to the 10, defends, and gives you another move up. So JTI keeps doing the same thing. Keep trading it until it doesn't do it anymore, but hopefully you've racked in some profits on that so you don't have to worry too much about when it does, and it will likely pull back some way, somehow. I don't think it's going to $1 million, Adira, so there's going to be a pullback sometime, some way. What do we got over there for that?
I'm just laughing at that. I don't think it's going to $1 million. Shout out to you, Sharif. Get it, Sharif. But also get it, eSignal. This part of the show is brought to you by eSignal. New traders, listen up. First month, free. That's right, we're waiving fees. So trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Because our platform, it is everything, okay? Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts you can predict with back testing. You're gonna get reliable, real-time data and global markets at your fingertips. This is an all-in-one platform, so do not miss out. Execute your best trades now. Thank you very much to our friends at eSignal. I will let you go back to GTAI, which I know you said is not going to reach $1 million, most likely.
I'm done. I took out everything at the 80 penny area when we got up there. It's zigging and zagging with it right now. Still lower high though, guys. So the winds of change may be coming. That 130 candle has a high. Excuse me over here. I'm not sure why it's not updating the JTAI highs and lows. It's so bizarre. Just allow me a second to figure that out. The high there at 888. So 888 on the previous 5-minute candle that closed at 130. And then the current candle has highs of 884. That concerns me. You're talking about like basically nothing. We're talking about pennies here, 4 pennies between the highs. But why that matters is because, well, we weren't able to get back to that high, so are the sellers now at least locally in control. So I'll keep my eye on this one. If it breaches the 10, I won't be trading it, but it'll have to maintain its position above the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 for me to stay involved in this one. I am still keeping my eye on BSLK. That's the one that Nimit pointed out to me. It's got an 88.5 penny high, trading at 84 pennies right now. I'm interested in this one because it's a different trade north and south of that dollar. And I want to be, have eyes on it if it's going to trade in that way or it's going to trade into that level. BSLK. Let's look at the 5-minute on this bad boy. So this was in play yesterday, as I mentioned. It did have a headline after the bell, but didn't really move. It did that zig and zag, yeah. So it did pop up, the algo pop there after the bell. But the best trade, obviously, on this one was in the morning before the headline came in. Let's just have a look at when that headline came in, man. That's a bizarre one. When did that spike come in? We got that spike right at 9:30. Okay, so that could just be an opening print buy. And we don't have any headlines in the pre-market there for yesterday. So that's interesting. Let's go. Another piece of the puzzle falls into place. This was a holdover from the 13th. So the day before Valentine's Day, we had a big move there from 30 pennies, and we did break that dollar into $1.26. The only reason I know that I traded is because I have this ticker labeled over here because we don't have the automatic label. So it was a lower high, lower low situation on BSLK. It's trying to reach that dollar again. I mean, it did it before. It didn't hang out above the dollar all that much. So again, we'll keep an eye on it. If it does take that dollar, I'll be all ears and eyes or whatever else. Otherwise, I'm just going to stay away from it. Nick, CRUS. Let's have a look at CRUS. That's what this one is up to. Super light on volume, Nick. Can't trade that. I don't even know how many. Cirrus Logic. I can't even tell what the volume is on the day on this one, but it's above VWAP. It's $113 name, so definitely not going to look at that one for a trade. I forgot to mention, I did get stopped out for about a 3 penny loss on EDIT. It did break the 20 exponential moving average, and you're going to say, well, you don't usually get out at the 20 exponential moving average, and that's right, I don't, because these small cap gappers don't typically base their support off the 20 exponential. This one did, and it did for a while, and then didn't. So the reason I got into the trade was for a 20 exponential hold. The reason I got out was for a breach. So I'll keep my eye on this one. 244 the high on EDIT. It's dropping in volume though, and the volume is already a little bit light on the day. It's $2 1/3 in value. It's only done 18 1/3 million shares. So that may seem like a lot, but based on price, and not so much there. Keeping an eye still on JTAI as it's putting in higher lows now on this 3-candle setup. So JTAI could have more in the tank, especially if we get that break above 888s and eventually obviously 9s, with the whole dollar level being a psychological area of resistance. So the current 3 candles set up on the 5, all of which have higher lows prior relative to the prior bar high. So if we get that squeeze above 888s, and we could be very close, 88s now, and you can see the selling come in at 88s. It's like somebody knows that was the high there. But I think we can basically take them out. The buying looks as if it's a bit more aggressive right now than the selling. Let's see if we can continue to move up here. But you can see definitely a tug of war between buyers and sellers at this area high, 888s that is, on JTAI. Let's see if this one can work its way back to the high side. Memes, QBTS going again. Let's have a look. QBTS, what's this one up to? Good call, dude. I missed that trade. That was a money trade off the volume weighted average price, and I didn't even know it was around there. This is what I'm talking about, guys. Look at this. QBTS, hammer candle at that 6.5, and then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green candles in a row on the 5-minute chart, working our way back into that $7 area. 702 is the high of the day, but that was a money entry at VWAP. Sadly, I did not have eyes on that, and of course, I'm not participating, but good call out by you, my man there. Memes, with that QBTS look up 13.5%. I do believe it is Rigetti. These are heavy, the one that has a headline on the day. Let's share that with everybody.
It's just a Microsoft-related headline that I think is moving all of them.
You're right. Shares of Quantum Link stocks are trading higher following a report suggesting Microsoft will unveil its Majorana. Majorana? Majorana. There's no R before the J. Majorana.
Oh, really? Oh, that's weird. Huh?
Majorana. Maybe it's a Major Anna?
Oh, that's true. Major. Yeah, it's probably major.
Who knows?
Major
One quantum processor. So we don't have any more information. Let me have a look to see if I can weasel some more information.
He's just laughing because I made a DJ Khaled reference.
Unveiled a new type of quantum chip built with what it calls a topological superconductor, which is not a solid, liquid, or gas, but an entirely new state of matter.
That's wild.
I need explanations, Adara.
So do I.
But isn't plasma a state of matter as well?
I think
It was supposed to be
I'm not
solid
the science
gas,
person
liquid
here.
plasma.
I think you're right.
I need fact check us chat. So here, I'm going to continue to read this on for a second since we are chilling for a little bit. So there, I'll zoom it in so you guys can go along. Quantum stocks edge higher following the revelation. The new chip dubbed Majorana 1 features a topological core architecture that it expects to speed up the usage of quantum computing to solve industrial scale problems in the coming years, not decades. The company says, throw in the kibosh right at Jensen and Zuck. Throw that shade, baby. We took a step back and said, okay, let's invent the transistor for the quantum age. What properties does it need to have, says Chatan Nayak, Microsoft technical fellow. And that's really how we got here. It's the particular combination, the quality, and the important details in our new material stack that have enabled a new kind of qubit and ultimately our entire architecture. That's impressive, man. Not that I understood most of that, but that's okay. Sounds impressive, Adara. So we'll keep an eye out, obviously, on Softy. Not really moving the needle for them, but they are positive on the day, up 0.5%.
They are, yeah. So shout out there to our friends at Softy. Shout out to Satya Nadella and his pals. Also, Tesla, you don't get a shout out. I tried this long. Now, very clearly this was a topping tail candle, but because that wasn't really part of my thesis, I was like, you know what? I'll try the trade. I gave it to prior bar low in the 5, and we got wicked out. So why did I like this long? Because I like this breakout. And I have to say, regardless of the top and tail, so we get there, we push up, then we come back, and we just sit so pretty on the book at 360, 370. So I said, you know what, Adara, risk the 60 cents, risk to prior bar low in the 5. I think it's worth it. Tesla did look like it was going to fight a good fight, but as the market dropped, Tesla could not resist the peer pressure of its market friends, and alas, that's dropped to the downside. But you know what? Honestly, guys, I'm just so happy I got to be here today with you all. That's overwhelming. Not my best trading day. I'm flat on MSTR, red Tesla, red Meta, red Lilly. Obviously, I don't like that. But you know what? That's not even the point, because I'm so happy I got to be here with everyone. I got to take some trades. Really proud of that MSTR long that I had off the low. So
let's tell everybody what you've been doing.
Yeah.
So Adara obviously has been at the big desk. I think everybody kind of knows that. But what people don't know is that you're trading up a storm.
I do.
On that big desk.
I do some trading.
Some trading. Calm down there, bro. Stop trying to underplay it. So we always communicate our trades. And there are certain times of the day where I'll interact with Adara because then I'm coming on the show. She's on a break, whatever. Yeah. And so she's always telling me about her trades. And I got to say that the amount of money you're taking, I don't know if the quantum, because we don't talk about that, but we talk about dollars or dollars in the money or out of the money, seem to be getting a little bit bigger every time. It was $5 winner. Then they moved up to 7 and 8. Now they're 10. Now they're 15. So you've been trading quite well. I really want to tell everybody about that because I feel a lot of people may get that benefit because they watched you learn in real time.
Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Sharif, for the shout out. Get it, Sharif. But yeah, no, I think the thing is, it's about finding your niche. That is huge. And so I talked about this a little bit. I had a profitable October, profitable November, and then December was a little bit weaker. And that's because I was trying to find new things. And shocker, what you learn sometimes from discovering new things is you kind of learn to go back home. And by that, I mean, I like trading spread, so I just focus on my spread. Lately, I've been trying to trade different times of day beyond the midday, so just about finding developments. My focus is always on the news, always. So with that in mind, you are sometimes going to miss trades, but it's, That is what it is, because if I'm
Exactly.
able to take opportunities, if I'm able to get involved, and I honestly find I'm more involved in the news and in the market when I've got trades, when I've got my screens up, right? Because you're actually part of it. So I think that I want to put that out there. I feel like I'm more engaged in the news because of the fact that I'm able to engage from a trading perspective. Because when I came here, I had no trading knowledge and no news knowledge, and now I'm pleased as punch to say I have both. So I want to shout out Brendan for initially putting me on this midday in the first place. Thank you to Sharif, Sean, Neil, Obi, the whole team. I'm so grateful to be here. And thank you to Pitchbull, everybody, for the kind words in the chat, because it's great to be back here today. Chung chung.
Chum chum. All right, guys, JTEI is breaking down. So now we've been talking about the umpteen amount of respect that it's had for the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. That respect got broken a little bit right now as it wicked below, and it hasn't quite closed below. But believe it or not, this is the first wick below the 10 exponential. Now, what I see here is a bunch of bottoming tail candles all manifesting at around that $8 area. So somebody, I don't know who, but somebody's buying up a storm here in and around $8. So could this be the first price action support we've seen on JTI, because it hasn't been really respecting price action like, area highs, area lows, whole dollar areas. It's been respecting the 10, as we've made very clear. So a nice, I want to say, triple bottom there with bottoming wicks, albeit on the one, of course, the 1-minute chart, that is, at around $8. And currently the 5-minute candle is a bit of a hammer candle with a longer lower wick than an upper wick. So I'm not exactly sure if I want to take this trade with about 10 minutes left on the show, but I want to mention that to you guys that there is support, at least it seems for the moment, at that $8 area. Whether we can break above 9 and move on our way in 944, which is the high day, an entirely different story. But there is another one that's breaking out. Shout out to Nimit. Yes, I see you, sir. So by the way, Gurr is having a great day. Didn't even have eyes on this one. Shout out to, who was telling me about that? West, y'all. Shout out to West, y'all. G triple R, Grr, up 22%, basically trading at the highs there. But this is the one I wanted to tell you about, BSLK. This monster is on its way to $1. Shout out to Nimit. Nimit, there he is, BSLK, new high day. I knew you'd be chiming in, Nimit. I knew you had eyes on this one. Guys, we still are a skosh lower, to use a word from her vocab there, below the 930 pop that we had yesterday. So that high we got right into, I believe that was 94 pennies. We're at 94 1/3 pennies right now. That is the high of the day. So we're at a predictable, let's say that, resistance level above this 94 1/3 or 94 pennies. We're then looking at the dollar as resistance, and I'll submit to you there's going to likely be a bit of a tug of war between buyers and sellers at that dollar. We'll see who wins out. Last time around, though, back on the 13th, you could tell the buyers went out, at least momentarily, while this monster weaseled up into that $1.25. So we're looking at that dollar next as resistance. Above that, you could basically base it on these area highs from the 13th. You could, say $1.10, then $1.21, with the ultimate high obviously being that $1.27, $1.28. I personally would base it off the area high there at that $1.27, $1.28, rather than trying to take every successive crest that we had on the 13th as a level of resistance. So, BSLK at the day high, a couple pennies off that day high right now, 94 1/3. Let's see if this bad boy can work its way up into that dollar. Sorry guys, not in a position right now. Nothing really to my liking at the moment. Gonna stay clear. Shout out to Ostentatious Productions. He says, it's me. What do you mean, brother? I don't know what you're talking about. Let me know. Harry Lou, Sharif, Adara, winding down your session. Mother's poll. This is a great one.
I love this.
Does Adara's mother have crypto? Congrats, Adara, on finding your groove. I'm going to have to echo that sentiment. I can basically answer and say, does she have?
No.
Okay, good.
No,
You would have told me.
No, she is not a crypto person. Neither of my parents are particularly internet savvy people. But yeah, no, thank you to Harry Lou for that, and thank you to Straight for echoing that shout out.
Harry's not a fan of crypto. I can just tell you
is that a thing? I didn't know that.
Harry,
Yeah.
you know, he's not a. I hope I'm not misconstruing your opinion, Harry, but you know I have gone back and forth about demand destruction in the past, and you're not a big fan of crypto. So we go back and forth, and he's like, your parents are doing the right thing. They're not investing in crypto, because I keep trying to get my parents to put like 1%.
Oh yeah,
Remember
you said that. Yeah, you want to put like a little bit, and they were like, no.
They're like, no. So infuriating, but it's
funny.
okay. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Okay, buying a lot of JTAI. Shout out to Ostentatious Productions. Shout out to you, my man. We have a higher low right now, Ostentatious, on the 5 on JTAI. Let's talk about it, because they're both hammer-looking candles. So this one could still have more in the tank here for JTAI, despite the fact that we're off highs. This is what I'm talking about. So you get a bit of a hammer candle here, testing 8, and then the subsequent candle, a higher low. So are we going to get a higher high? To get a higher high, we got to break that 855. Are we at that high yet? Yes, we are at an equal high. So 855 equaling the high of the previous candle with a higher low. I think JTAI's got more in the tank, but it's got to clear and hold above 9, and then we could really squeeze in to that $10 area. We're already in triple-digit worlds, already being up 108%. So fantastic look for whoever was trading JTAI today. I hope you guys traded it carefully, traded it with stops, and you had a plan about what you were executing on, why you were getting in, where you were getting out, where you were wrong, if it ended up going against you. I hope everybody obviously adheres, as I always say.
Is that the
store? What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe only 6 minutes left. I was talking to Luisa in the chat about Eli Lilly, because she was like, oh, do you think it's short? And I said, well, this level here, this VWAP, but it's also a VWAP from earnings, this 868.88 level, and I do mean specifically that level, because that's the level we also broke out from on the book. This level has been pretty wild. And to be clear, I think we are getting a little bit more bearish on it as of right now on the ask, but the bid is holding up. And so with that in mind, I want to transition. JF Trader asked, can I elaborate what I say, what I mean by like trading spread? I would love to. So when I say spread, I like expensive tickers that have a pretty large spread between the bid and the ask price. So right now, Eli Lilly, bid of 868.33, ask of now 869.03. So about a 70-cent spread. Sometimes these spreads can get up to like $2, $3. I have no issue with that as long as it's communicating something clear to me. I traded ServiceNow. Pardon?
Is that VWAP on Lilly?
Yeah, I know. I'm watching this right now. The bid is not giving me enough.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, that's why I love
Lilly,
this level.
bro.
Like that breakout, I actually loved it.
That's
like
a
I
good
said,
look,
didn't take
Adira.
it, but I think I might get involved if the book gives me a little more oomph. But so that leads me, JF Trader, to kind of what I'm trying to say. So what I'll look for here if I want to go long on Lilly at VWAP, because as Sharif mentioned, it looks good. It's a previous level. What do I want to see? Well, I want to see the book start to creep up here. I want to see us go from 868.33s to 34s. To 35s, to 36s. I want to see this gradual build. I want to see us see the pressure, and then I want to see us push to the upside. I want to see us push past that ask, and look, now we're a little bit higher. But now we're going back to 868.34. So when I see that kind of hopscotch like that too, if you go up and down from levels, that to me is a little bit concerning, because we're not having a clear sense of direction. I want to see directionality on the book. I want to see a gradual push to the upside, or I want to see a gradual push to the downside. And that's why this breakout on Lilly this morning, because I watched it go down, was so beautiful. Like, I remember we were at 868.88 on the ask. That was the exact level I like. And then the bid, the spread got so tight, Sharif. We went from like 868.56, 57, 58. And at that point, I knew, I was like, this thing's going to go. And it goes. It gives you $13. So that's what I mean when I say I trade spread. I look for directionality. I look for shifts in the book. And I specifically like the MACD levels, like this beautiful VWAP, previous support and resistance hold on LLY. So I hope that makes sense, JF Trader. You can always tag me with any questions. Like I said, I am focused on the news when I'm on that desk, but I always do try to answer questions. And as we speak, Lilly trying to bid creep. We went from 60s to 63s. Sharif, this could be beautiful here.
Interesting take here. I was reading about the dead one right now. And the new phone that they dropped, it looks as if they're dropping Qualcomm, which they've been, the chip that they've been using for Qualcomm. We know that's one of their suppliers. They're dropping Qualcomm's chips on this new 16E. They're not calling it the SE anymore. They're calling it the 16E. Qualcomm traded higher. Why the hell would Qualcomm trade higher on that? Unless it was like, people were anticipating that there would be a drop in them as a supplier, but maybe not to the extent that the street was expecting. So the Qualcomm is higher; it's up 0.8%, but I don't think it's higher because of that. So here's the headline. Qualcomm traded higher on Wednesday after Apple confirmed that the iPhone 16e would have an in-house modem chip. Now, we've been hearing about Apple making their own in-house modem chips for a long time, but they actually extended their contract with Qualcomm at least for the 15 and the 16. The San Diego-based company has provided the modem for chips for Apple devices for more than a decade. However, in March of 2023, Qualcomm CEO or Chief Executive Cristiano Amon said the company had no plans to make modems for Apple in 2024. Several months later, in September, the two companies extended their agreement for Qualcomm to supply that I remember. Its Snapdragon 5G modem chips for smartphone launched in 24, 25, and 26. So you're going to get at least into 26 Qualcomm chips and Apple products. Maybe not for the 16e, but for others. Apple has spent years trying to develop its own in-house modem offering, only to have run into various setbacks. In June of 22, TF International Securities analyst Ming-Chi Kuo said that Apple had run into issues with its development to replace Qualcomm. The Cupertino, California-based company is also widely believed to be working on an in-house solution to replace Broadcom with its own Wi-Fi processors. Apple wants to do everything in-house, like fully vertically integrated, like Tesla. Like with the in-house modem chip, Apple has also run into technical snags with its Wi-Fi processors over the years. Why is it running into so many problems? The 16e offers Apple Intelligence. Really? 16e is going to offer Apple Intelligence? Hold on.
I was reading some rumors about that. I think that's maybe why, because I think it was kind of priced in, because I know 9 to 5
For
Max.
$699, bro, you have to ante up the 15 Pro prior to that, which was like $1,500.
That's actually really interesting.
Which is like, that's half the price. Obviously US dollars, not Canadian dollars right here. You're gonna get better battery life with that A18 chip, where the 16e is gonna have A18, up to 6 hours longer than the iPhone 11 and 12. iPhone 11 and up to 12 hours longer than all generations of the previous iPhone SE. 48 megapixel camera, 2-in-1 camera. It's available in white and black colors, 128, 256, 512, 599. It starts at February 12th. They're launching that product. So
February 12th.
No, did you know what time it is?
I do. It's 2 p.m.
Is it?
It is already.
The show's done?
That means the show's done. That's crazy.
Oh, all right.
Well, I mean, we had a lot of fun. Thank you so much for being back here with us, and thank you guys for letting me sit at this here desk. I am pleased as punch to be back. But right now we're going to go back to the guys. So same bat time, same bat channel. The Shirobi Show will be here tomorrow. And I'll see you guys at the news desk post-haste. See ya.
Adara, thank you very much. Sharif, we do have, it is Fed minutes coming out here, so just a couple of things already hitting the wire. Fed, want further inflation progress before adjusting